Hello, everyone. Pop Culture Curator here. Great to see you all. Welcome back. It is another Tuesday afternoon, evening, which means we are back with the our horror sci-fi stream. And I didn't get a chance to put a poll in the chat for this week's movie, but I hope. Sorry, now my voice cracks up. Just a second.
Oh, it's all good, buddy. And hello to
But
everyone in the chat already. Thank you so much for being here. US Rock.
thank you. So tonight
Of
we're
course.
covering The Mist. Yes, tonight we're covering The Mist, which is loosely based on a short story by Stephen King. And I'm sure anybody who's a fan of this channel knows that I'm not a fan of Stephen King, but every now and then some of his ideas might stand out if given the right director. And this is one of those exceptions. So, in my opinion, it's a good movie. I think it's going to be fun. It's a great crowd pleaser. I've also mentioned in past streams about I'm a big fan of practical effects, practical gore, mechanical effects, all that kind of stuff. And to show that I'm not completely living in the past, I'm covering tonight The Mist because this is actually a movie that was done mostly with CGI, but it's an example of CGI done right. So it shows that you can do CGI and it not look cartoonish and to actually take it seriously. And in my opinion, it's very rare to get a movie like that because, like I said, usually they look cartoonish and they're just not very believable, and it takes you right out of the movie. But I wanted to say first of all, Gorilla's going to be a little late tonight, and PvP will be coming up later on when he finishes work. But I'm going to keep it probably a closed panel tonight so that we can keep the running time relatively short and smooth. We'll get through this in maybe a couple hours, 2 3 hours. Um, so I hope I don't upset anybody, but it's basically just to keep the running time down. It's nothing personal to anyone in particular or specifically. But
Oh my goodness.
first I want to say hello to my fellow co-host and good friend Nemesis Eden. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome, Pop. Thanks for having me here. Always a pleasure to be on the panel with you.
Well, I'm extremely happy to have you here. Of all people to enjoy this movie with, I'd rather have you here than anybody else. And I know you and I
Aw,
have
thanks,
been,
dude.
that's my pleasure. You and I have been talking about this for some time now, wanting to cover this movie. So it was a matter of time before we got around to it. Hello, BBP. Welcome. And how are you doing, sir?
Well, hi. Just give me a second, Pop.
Take your time. I'm going to say, first of all, my chat master is not here yet. Like I said, Gorilla's going to be running a little late. So I'm
Uh,
going to catch up on the chat the best I can. Forgive me, everybody, if I'm a little behind. Nemesis
just
Vita
had to
says,
switch. Just had to switch my mic on there, Pop.
sounds good. Nemesis Vita says, exploitation, I believe that is.
Nope. Expiation. We're calling for blood here.
Expiation. Thank you. I need to lean closer to the computer. Edge of
It's all
Time says,
good.
I never did see the frog, says Edge of Time. And Edge of Time says, but that's not my business. And Nemesis Vita says, hail Edge of Time. I hope you are well. And Sci-Fi says, Dan, hello there. Sci-Fi says, Dan, hello there. Pop Culture Curator. And Sci-Fi says, Dan says, hello there to all on the panel.
Right.
And Time says, there is no I in Choose Your Own Adventure Stories. Ever think of that? No, you just think about yourself. And that's me saying hello, everyone. And hello, Suzanne. Suzanne, actually, I hope you're feeling a little bit better tonight, Suzanne. She says, hello, Pop. She also says, Nemesis, hello. And she says, hello to Sci-Fi, says Dan. And Edge of Time says, greeting from the Edge of Time. And Suzanne says, hello to Edge of Time. Everybody's saying hello to each other, which is great. PvP, hello, dear. Nemesis Eden says, hail, Suzanne. I hope you are doing well tonight. Yeah, I second that. Nemesis, not great, but thanks. Well, I'm sorry, Susanna.
Yeah, sorry to hear that, Suzanne. Hopefully this makes it a little bit better.
Yeah, feel better, Suzanne.
Sci-fi sit down. Oops. Get caught up here. Sci-fi sit down says hello there, Suzanne. And sci-fi sit says hello, Mrs. Eden. I'm getting confused here. All right. Getting stepping over myself here. All right, so as mentioned previously, in case you were born yesterday, tonight we're going to be covering The Mist, and let me get that queued up for us and get us ready to go. No sense of wasting too much time. I pray, and I got my fingers crossed that I am going to be able to do this stream tonight. Last night I had zero bandwidth when I was doing my Lost in Space stream, and when I tried to show the preview for next week's episode, I was unable to do it because I have a roommate who basically uses up all the bandwidth. And when that happens, I'm not able to get in and do anything. But let's hope that doesn't happen tonight.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be smooth sailing tonight.
Well, the only option is to get my own internet. But I don't know what kind of internet I can get that's independent from the house that's any good. I don't want to use satellite or something like that because those are definitely garbage. Okay, get my subtitle ready. Here we go. So, PPP, you just saw this movie for the first time, am I correct?
Yeah, I watched it over the weekend.
Good. All right, Nemesis Beaton and myself, we have seen this before. We're already fans of the movie. So it'll be nice to get your opinion and Gorilla's opinion when he gets here.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
One thing that I really... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say I got a lot of thoughts about this film. A very mixed bag for me. I don't want to be negative, of course, but there were elements I loved and elements I didn't like as much. I'll just, say that off.
That's fine.
I don't want to spoil anything though. So
no, we'll get there when we get there. Oh.
Right.
So one of the things that I did want to point out before we get too far into this is that the director filmed this. So he was inspired by The Night of the Living Dead. So it is also available in black and white and can be viewed in black and white. And he actually prefers it as his preferred version over the colored version.
Interesting. Wow.
I was almost considering showing the black and white version tonight, but I thought people would be thrown off course and wouldn't have been.
Go ahead,
Bob. Yeah.
Same with Godzilla.
I've never seen the black and white.
Same with Godzilla -1 last year. That big box hit. They also released that in black and white version. And we'll get this out of the way early. This is directed by Frank Darabont, who was the original showrunner on Walking Dead. So you're going to see a lot of similarities and a lot of familiar faces if you're a Walking Dead fan.
Yeah, that's one thing I think helps the movie a lot is because he was the showrunner in season 1 of Walking Dead, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, and I think that
it was a great season.
Yeah.
The first thing that AMC did was replace him, the assholes.
Yep. I thought season 1 was very solid, like a really good season. Yeah, I agree 100% there, Bob. Yeah.
But once again, they always think, we could do it cheaper without him. So yeah, and it definitely severely showed. In fact, if I remember right, in the second season, the one that took the entire season took place at the farmhouse, right? With Herschel.
Yeah, I think that was it, and it was very slow paced.
Yeah. So one of the things that I've got a quote from Darabont here. Actually, he said this story is less about the monsters outside than about the monsters inside. The people you were stuck with, your friends and neighbors breaking under the strain.
Absolute accurate description, I'd say. By the way, Nemesis, I'm hearing you crack. Your mic's crackling on my end. I don't know if you're hearing it, Pop, but I just wanted to mention it.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit of crackling, but he's on a phone, so he doesn't have a lot of choice.
Oh, okay, no worries. I just wanted to mention it.
No, I appreciate it. I'll see what I can do here. Is that any better? It might have been my Is there less crackling now?
You're still kind of breaking up a little bit, but I can
Okay.
understand you. Okay,
Okay.
Yeah,
Try the different headbutt.
totally
Anyways, carrying on.
Totally serviceable. And as we can see from this shot here, the director is a true horror fan. Obviously, those are remember, those aren't movie posters. According to the plot, the main protagonist of the movie is an artist, and those are his paintings. So according to the plot, he's painting that painting of the movie The Thing, and among other things.
Yeah, well, we do see him painting right at the start, right, Pop? And I thought it was very cool, to see an artist in a film. Like, wow, we got an artist that's like a main character. Wow, when does that ever happen?
Exactly. So we get a major storm.
Well, not only an artist, but a strong artist.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yes, masculine. He actually has which is rare in Hollywood these days, called testosterone.
Yes. Right? He's not the stereotypical, like, artsy, weak, mincy nerd type of thing. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, well, that is pretty stereotypical. Yeah, but there's a lot of different people that, artists are just as different people as any line of work, right? I mean, there's a variety of people. So, but
I lived in the Bay Area where there were artists all over the place. I never met one that was masculine. I have to say that. No offense to anybody out there if you're an artist, but I never met one like this. I mean, I met artists, but the ones I'm talking about, the ones in the Bay Area, most of them were feminist, and they were looking for a free ride. They were looking for places where they could live for free and for people to feed them.
Well, that didn't really apply to the people I knew at art school, because there was a wide range of people, and there were a lot of my friends were definitely not feminists. They were definitely not, feminine. They were
good.
They were just kind of regular guys, right? Which is why we hung around together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? But unfortunately, I know the ones in the Bay Area. I'm sure you guys heard about that nightclub or that fire. It was in a warehouse in Oakland where everybody was trapped inside, and most of them burned, and they were all artists, which they self-proclaimed artists.
Weird.
Horrific. Jesus. Anyways, so this is one of the few times that we get to see the wife in the film. She's not in the film very much.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that great? I mean, excuse me. Sorry. No offense.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, the reason why I say that is because for those of you who have not seen the movie, we're going to throw a lot of tropes out the window for this movie. You're going to see a lot of things that you are not expecting. Things are going to happen that you don't usually see in movies. And the fact that the wife is not trailing along with him, I'm glad, because usually that tells you right from the beginning what's going to happen, who's going to live, who's going to die, so forth and so on. But no, this is completely unpredictable. This movie does not follow the cookie cutter Hollywood format, which is one of the reasons why it really soars up to the top of my list of movies.
Well, that's one reason I really enjoyed. Like, I thought the first 15, 20 minutes for me were probably, in a way, this might sound weird, guys, but it was kind of my favorite part of the movie, because it's like the first 15 or 20 minutes, like when he, is talking to the neighbor, which we'll see, coming up shortly here, and they're just like real people, doing real things. It's like, oh, they're reviewing the storm damage, like
just a moment,
like
guys.
real people would do. Okay.
Yeah, it's and then you get to see how they change and shift over time, right? Like, and it's unfortunate because, like, the fear plays a lot into this film, and I really enjoy it. It's I was able to see this film way back in the day. I think I was like, I don't know, 13, 14. So no spoilers, no anything like that. I got to see this movie just in its entirety, and it was shocking. Like, there are so many, like Pop was saying, there's so many things, twists and turns. This isn't necessarily a monster movie as per se. It is like,
well,
a drama.
There's the
I'd say it's like it's a fooling version of the Monsters Are Due on Maple Street, except that we get to see the aliens this time. That's what it kind of
Well,
reminds me
yeah,
of. Anybody
yeah.
who's familiar with the Twilight Zone episode, The Monsters That Dwell on Maple Street,
Oh
starring
yeah,
Claude Akins,
that's a favorite.
right? This is where, Nemesis was mentioning, is the true evil is not always necessarily out there, but from within. And that's what that Twilight Zone episode highlighted so well and so masterfully.
Agree. Yeah. Well, I think it's a film about external and internal monsters for me when I watched it.
Oh, totally. So we do have a couple more in the chat. So Taylor Swift is greater than Disney, Star Wars, and MCU. Hello. Edge of Time.
Thank you for pointing that out. There we go.
You're
Thank you for
welcome.
pointing that out.
Sci-fi fan. Hello.
Suzanne says no. And there we are. Taylor Swift is waiting. Hello, Taylor Swift. Greater than Disney, Star Wars, and MCU. Good to see you. Edge of Time says art farts rule, jackass rule. I wanted to say no offense towards artists. None whatsoever. I love them. My God, I love art. I love animation. I love painting. I love writing. I was only specifically talking about the ones in the Bay Area, in San Francisco area. And Taylor Swift says LOL. There we go. And thank you for reminding me about that Nemesis.
I'm not.
Yeah, of course. I'll be the chat master until Gorilla shows up.
I'm not offended by art stereotypes anyway, because I've probably heard all of it, over the years, and it's like, oh well, I mean, I know what I know, and your mileage may vary, but I know what I know because I've been on the inside, and spent time with actual, other people that were actually doing the same thing. So, I kind of think, I have maybe a little more qualified viewpoint, just saying,
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we have a storm the night before, and now we have where our protagonist is going out and assessing the damage to his property. And he's got his wife along with him on his side, and his son. And the son is all excited about the damage to the boathouse, like a kid would be. A kid, of course, would be excited about all the destruction. Us as an adult, as a homeowner, not so much. Having to deal with the insurance company and all that, no, I don't think so.
Now that tree, is that a real tree or is that some kind of CGI tree? Like
real tree.
It looks.
That's a real tree.
I'm impressed.
Right.
Yeah, no, and I like once again, it's showing that our character here, excuse me, is pretty. He isn't too miffed about it, right? Like he's just like whatever. It's just stuff. It sucks, yeah. But David, sorry, is his name. Played by, of course,
Thomas Jane.
Thank you.
Who does a great job in this movie. He also played in one of the Punisher movies. And I think he's a highly underrated actor. I think he did a great job in this. I couldn't have pictured anybody else.
He was very solid.
He played the Punisher. Yeah, he was fantastic in that movie too. Like it's a different interpretation, but we're not talking about that. This shot I love because it's just so benign and yet kind of like it looks unnatural. You're just like, hey, that's not how mist forms on a lake, does it? Well, maybe I don't know. I don't know on a lake, but to me, it seems like.
They even say so. She says, they say, well, that's not how it normally looks. We had mist on the lake before, but not like that. Apparently, it's coming from around those mountains. So I'm guessing, by the way, remember everybody, based on a Steven Spielberg idea, Steven Spielberg was a fan of H.P. Lovecraft. So what we're getting the hint of, spoilers, I'll go ahead and give away the spoilers now, but we're getting the hint that these creatures are from within. That they're Cthulhu's, that anybody who's read H.P. Lovecraft knows what I'm talking about, and that was the heart of what H.P. Yeah, that's the heart of what H.P. Lovecraft wrote about, were the ancient beasts that lived way down below, for a long time, and that was always the scariest part. I absolutely love Lovecraft. So I give credit and kudos to Stephen King. But I'm going to cite the original source that really deserves it, and that's H.P. Lovecraft. This movie is a love letter to H.P. Lovecraft.
Right? Like, this was one of the first movies before I even read H.P. Lovecraft. It's called Lovecraftian in nature, right? Like, there's a whole genre based off of his works, and it's one of my favorite genres of all time. Like, yeah, we'll get into just the creatures in this film and whatnot. Just it's all amazing. Anyways, carrying on though.
Carry on.
Is this based on a Stephen King story then? Like,
Yes,
I
it
wasn't
is.
aware of that. Oh wow!
Yeah.
Gee, for once, I'm actually impressed by Stephen King. Wow.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier, and that's because the reason why it's done so well is because it's in the hands of a good director.
Hmm.
So, with Stephen King, I would say middle of the road material. So, depending on the director, you can either make it worse, you can make it the same, or you can make it better. And that's how we got The Shining, which was a good movie. That was because the director elevated it. It was John Carpenter that made Christine what it was. So it all depends on, in the right hands, like I said. The same with Cujo. I know there's people out there who don't like Cujo, but I personally liked it. I think the director did a good job, and I adored Dee Wallace.
I didn't mind it at all.
See, that's why we have different opinions.
Yeah, like I thought it was fun. Like once it's not my top movies, but I didn't mind Cujo. Like I'm not.
Yep, and it's another movie just loosely based on one of Stephen King's short stories.
Yeah.
I don't know. In my opinion, he seemed to have done better with his short stories. I think those voluminous 1,000-page books like It don't seem to hold together under scrutiny. And I don't, unless I'm wrong, unless you guys can think of a good Stephen King movie that was based on a book that was 1,000 pages. I can't think of any.
The Green Mile. But Lemon Pie is in the chat. Hi, Lemon. Good to see you, buddy. I know you can't see me, but I'm waving physically.
And I have to agree. I know a lot of people like the Green Mile, but it is divisive. Some people don't like it. I am not a fan personally.
Yeah, I'll take it or leave it, to be honest. But it is acclaimed. That's the first one that came to mind.
Yes, which was also directed by Frank Darabont, who did this movie, by the way.
Which is why I also brought it up, because it's funny. Frank Darabont has a really good time interpreting Stephen King's works. He's done all of his films. He's done justice to it.
I wish Frank Darabont would. Yeah, I know he's not listening to my little old tiny stream, but it's like, my goodness, man, if you're out there, you need to make more movies. We need more old school horror, just like John Carpenter. Hollywood is starving. We need good people like that, but they won't get hired anymore. They're not the right color. They don't sleep with the right people, so on and so forth.
Yeah, 2007. That's a while ago, all right, isn't it? Gosh.
Yeah, indeed. But we should probably.
But fortunately, it was before woke kicked in. Lemon Pie says hi there. And Lemon Pie says, Nemesis, truce?
I'll call a truce, Lemon, for sure, bro.
Okay, this is a side story I don't know about here, but I'll keep shut for now.
Howdy Pop and PvP say Lemon Pie. And
Hey,
right back at you, Lemon Pie. Howdy, Lemon. Good to see you. I'm glad you're spending time with us tonight. Lemon Pie says, is this plain Misty for me? That would be with Clint Eastwood.
That's another good movie.
It is a good movie, right? It's Clint Eastwood was one that had to wear on me when I was a kid. It was like Charles Bronson. I thought, well, the guy can't even act. He just acts like the same guy in every movie. But eventually he did grow on me where I actually adore him now. Same with John Wayne. I thought, the guy's one note. He never acts. But then he grew on me where I eventually love him.
That was Matthew McConaughey for me.
Yeah, I agree about Matthew McConaughey. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to argue that.
It depends on the movie for me.
And I will say that's the problem with Will Smith, but he will never grow on me, at least not in a good way. He grows on me in the way I need to have the doctor remove it.
Like fungus.
Yes. Edge of Time. Sir Lemon, I've always wanted to ask Meringue, a celebration of browning or just whipped eggs and sugar? You got to have a little bit of browning on top. I am not a meringue. There you go. And there's one person in particular who fortunately is now part of YouTube Past, who used to always call Lemon Pie Meringue. And that person is no longer around, thank goodness. So let's put that calling Lemon Pie Meringue, let's put that to rest if we can, guys, out of respect for Lemon Pie. And out of disrespect for that YouTuber who is no longer around, who I barely would classify as a YouTuber. Lemon Pie, people always do ask me that on the street. Right? We're walk right up to you. Tell me, do you like your meringue brown or no? That's like grape upon. Edge of time. We should take a poll amongst the nog curious. Oh, that's right. That reminds me. I need to get that poll in the chat, and I'll get that up there, guys, tonight while we're talking about the movie.
Oh boy.
And Edge of time says most people can't commit to the nog life. Well, we know one person that can. Lemon
Heyo.
Pie says PvP. The truce is just regarding our pistol drawing.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's all good then. Okay.
Oh, okay. And I'm not aware of that, but I'm sure it's harmless. All right. So, caught up on the chat. And here we're going to dive back into the movie. And here's the wife telling him that mist looks awfully strange. And now he's talking about how a tree has fallen on his boathouse, destroying it. But apparently it belongs to a neighbor who he's going to talk to about the damage. And apparently he has a history with the neighbor, which we will get into here.
Doesn't he say too he's been bugging the neighbor for like 3 years to cut that dead tree down that just killed his boathouse?
Yes, exactly.
Uh,
Oh, but I'd love to have a house like that. Oh, motherfucker. Yes, guys, you will see a few cuss words here and there. But that's why it's rumblings from the, that's why it's high sci-fi horror stream. That is allowed here.
Well, especially if I'm here.
If you guys are wondering, they're not yelling at each other, these cuss words. It's the neighbor with the chainsaw yelling at the chainsaw because he can't get it started.
Yeah,
So if you're wondering,
that darn chainsaw.
yeah.
that darn
Yeah.
chainsaw, right? Time to get a new one, I guess.
Well, considering their history, I'm very, very relieved he couldn't get the chainsaw to work in this scene.
Exactly. And you could tell, by the way, this guy's an amazing actor. I love him. Wasn't he also
Yeah.
in The Walking Dead? Wasn't he also in The Walking Dead at some point?
Oh, I'm trying to remember where I know he's got one of those instantly recognizable faces, right? Because as soon as I saw him, it's like, oh, I've seen this guy, I don't know how many times before, but I just can't place him, you know?
Yep. But I love him. Yeah, it's great. The cast has another thing, too, that PvP and I were talking about. I'm sorry. Nemesis and I were talking about in the background was the casting of this movie. Amazing. Amazing cast.
That's
And we
right.
Yes,
will-
his name is Andre Brower.
Thank you.
Hmm.
And we will be
Yeah.
elaborating.
There you go.
We will be elaborating on the casting later as we go.
That was one of the strong points of the movie for me was the cast. And as I mentioned earlier, I love the first 15 or 20 minutes here. It's because it's like real people doing real things, talking like real people, interacting like
Uh-huh.
real people. You know, I mean, it's been so long since I've seen scenes like this because I remember, as a kid watching movies that were made in the 40s and 50s, and it was all like this. It was about real people living real life, doing real stuff, right? And talking like real people. And I was just like, wow, this is so great because I mean, I very rarely see anything with this amount of realism in it anymore, right?
Right. And the first thing we're introduced to right off the bat is a healthy, loving family. And neighbors are not cynical. They don't hate you. There's no narcissism. So I mean, you could just clearly tell the difference in writing between then and now.
Yeah, there is. Like, I mean, there's definitely tension between David and oh my God, why
The neighbor.
the neighbor? Yeah,
I'm cheating. I should know the name. I know.
Brent Norton. Who he is an attorney, and so they have had history before. But they're like I said before, they seem pretty chill. So like he offers them a ride to town. They're like, hey man, we're gonna go pick up some stuff and whatnot. Your car smashed. Would you like to come with us? And he's like, yeah, okay, I will. Like you can tell there's some hesitation there. Like you can tell that there is some hostility. Yeah, history. There we go.
Yes. You're not headed to town today by any chance, are you? And he says, yep. And it's like, okay, good. Because I think he's going to need a new chainsaw. So it's a good excuse to stop by the hardware store. Oh, that's an International, isn't it? What he's driving? I know it's not a Jeep. I think it's an International.
Yeah, it's not a make of truck I'm familiar with offhand.
Well, the reason why I know them is I had a friend and his dad loved them, but he went through them left and right. They're not built very well, and they're crap. They're lemons.
Hmm.
They
No,
look beautiful. They're not built to last.
yeah, yeah, they look like nice and beefy, and it's a good guy if you're trying to impress a girl, I guess, in that department. But they're just not built very well. It's gonna spend. It's like it reminds me of a Datsun slash Nissan. It's gonna spend most of the time with the hood up.
Hmm.
So that was Nathan Gamble, who's Billy Drayton, and that's David's 8-year-old son. And so here, Pop, you were talking about the Arrowhead Project, a little bit of foreshadowing to what we get a bigger reveal, in the movie later on. And they're talking about like it's just treated as a big conspiracy theory at this point, right? They're like, yeah, missile defense research, that type of thing, yada yada, and it's like, But they're talking about how the base is located up in the mountains where that mist was directing from or emanating from.
Exactly. But we know, of course, we've seen the movie before, but we know that the government has nothing to do with what we're going to be seeing here.
They do, though.
They do. It's part of the government. Oh well.
Yes,
Okay.
we'll talk about it when we get there.
Yeah, I think we do get a little more explanation later in the film, don't we, Nemesis?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Good. Sorry, I'm taking my sweatshirt off. My pain meds are kicking in, and every time they do, it gets really warm.
Hey, don't worry, man. I didn't have my shirt on today because it got to 21 Celsius here, which is pretty darn warm for the second day of April. I got to tell you, and so I was a little sweaty in my room here, where I'm working at home. So
Oh, good.
no
Better
worries.
than freezing your ass off, I guess.
Well, it's supposed to drop.
Yeah.
It's supposed to get colder tomorrow, but oh well, that's the way it goes.
So
It was hot yesterday. It's cold today. So yeah.
So I don't know if you guys mentioned it or not because we were talking, but this movie takes place right outside of Portland, Oregon. So even though it's a Steven Spielberg written by, it's actually not taking place in Maine for a change.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, that's just a Stephen King stereotype.
And they're wondering where all this military are for, with the military presence, and that's the reason why they were talking about the base. And of course, every time you got a base, you're going to have conspiracy theories. Oh, the old
he's
flip
trying
phone.
to call his wife at this point. I think, was he?
Yeah, I think the phones are already down at this point.
Perhaps. So I'm guessing the military has taken the phones network down.
Well, I don't know if the military necessarily did that or if it's due to traffic because everybody's calling each other. Like they were talking about, I don't know if you guys heard, we were mentioning the other night about the eclipse when that kicks in. There's articles coming out saying how the cell service may be down for the eclipse. And people were saying, well, I don't know how an eclipse can cause the cell service to go down. They don't. It's because everybody's on the phone calling everybody, saying, hey, can you see it? Can you see it?
Oh, boy. Could be either one, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point to bring up PvP, though.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. So here we have just, of course, the whole town is here in force because, like, everyone's out of power, apparently. Like, there's no power, there's no cell service. Like, they're completely in the dark.
And knowing that they're out of power, they're all stocking up. That's why everybody's at the grocery store. They're all grabbing food while they can.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. This reminds me of 2020 when people were buying, like, 30 units of toilet paper or whatever. It's like, oh, boy, here we go.
Oh, my God, right?
I had a job that had me living in the South, and I'm talking about the South, the Bible Belt. And every time the storm warning would come in or a tornado warning, this is what would happen at the grocery stores. People would pack in and clear out the shelves.
Panic time, yeah.
Right, don't do it ahead of time. Do it as soon as the things are issued.
Yeah, do it when everybody else is doing it because that'll be much more fun. I do love this scene, though.
Like this since we opened.
Once again, this is like my favorite. Probably, I just love this early part of the movie because it's like wow, this is like real people, real life, in a little emergency, but nobody's panicking yet. Like they're still civil enough. And it's just like, wow, I just found all this stuff at the grocery store even early on so refreshing to watch. I knew that, I knew, worse stuff was going to happen, but it was just kind of nice to just enjoy this while it lasted.
Yes. And I want to shout out too right there, Toby Jones. I absolutely adore him. Before this movie came out, it was like, yeah, he's okay. I could take him or leave him. But after watching this, he immediately became one of my favorites.
Oh,
And
dude, he's amazing.
Right, we're talking about the little short guy there, the bagger.
Yeah,
and I'm going to
his
point
name is.
out. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say his name is Ollie in the film.
Ollie, yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
But
He's great in the film.
His claim to fame is his dad directed a lot of the Hammer movies that we are currently covering. The
Wow.
Oh,
Frankensteins, the
cool.
Draculas, all that. His dad, that's where he comes
Wow.
from.
That's a very cool connection, Pop.
Yeah, I should show us. And the dad also acted in some of those movies as well.
Wow.
Yes, he comes from a line of. No, I'm not going to say Hollywood, obviously, because it's from Britain. But let's just say thespians and artists.
Mm.
And here we have coming up one of my most hated characters in any movie ever. She does an amazing job. It's Marcia Gay Harden, and she plays Mrs. Carmody, the religious fanatic. And we didn't get to see because we're skipping past the scenes so much. And I guess I should have said this way beforehand. If you somehow made it into this part of the film, and you haven't seen it, stop watching. Like, you need to watch this movie front to back, no spoilers.
Yeah, we don't want to
Up,
ruin this.
It's very worth it.
I agree.
Definitely.
I agree, everybody, with what Nemesis says. We do not want to ruin this for you. You've got to watch this movie on your own.
Yeah, definitely stop at this point. Not yet. Nothing has been ruined yet, but if you go much further, it could be. So yes.
Yeah.
Watch
And
it. Do me a favor. Watch it at night with the lights off, and then come back and watch the stream afterwards. Yeah, then come back and watch the stream after.
Totally frightened.
Oh, it'd be amazing.
Gay Harden, I know that name. Like, she's been in lots of other stuff, hasn't she? Geez, I've heard.
I believe so.
I've seen her and stuff. I mean, I can't place it right now, but yeah, she's pretty well known, is she not?
Oh yeah, she's got a couple of Academy Award nominations. She's been in a bunch of different films.
I think I know. She was in the movie years ago about the artist Pollock, Jackson Pollock. She played his wife, I think.
That is correct.
And she won the Academy Award for that performance.
Oh, very cool. Now, was that Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress? You can play Best Supporting, right?
I'd have to look it up.
Supporting. Best supporting actress. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
But she shone in that role. Well, that's one of my favorite films about an artist because it's got it pretty. I think it's got it pretty right on. Actually, I think that's a fairly accurate film from what I know about Pollock's life history and his art. So it's a very good film. Actually, I don't want to sidetrack us, but if you ever want to see a good film about an artist, watch Pollock.
Okay, so here we get just in this little part here, we get a little blurb of electrical storm largest on the whatever. So that is implying that there was a big EMP, and that's why there's no self-service. There's no
electricity
power. Yeah.
Yes.
It was a big electrical storm. So I guess I wouldn't say an EMP, but
right, big electrical storm which knocked everything out. And Nemesis is correct. It created an EMP, which is is electromagnetic pulse. Which is how our next World War will be fought, actually, by EMPs.
We have 4 chats from Lemon Pie.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, we have the Army base. Yeah, dude, of course.
It's like, Gorilla, where are you? I miss you, Gorilla.
I'm trying my best. I'm sorry.
I know. He's busy with his family, which is totally fine. Lemon Pie, Nog life is hardcore. And Lemon Pie says, hail to the edge of time. And Lemon Pie says, beefy cars and rotting. And Lemon Pie says, religious fanatic. those are usually portrayed in a positive light. And depending on what you're watching, yeah, you're totally right.
Well,
Yeah,
I wouldn't count on that this time, but oh well.
not in this film. Certainly not. No, but sometimes.
Right. Or in the movie Carrie, as the mother is portrayed in that, she's definitely a nutcase.
Yeah.
By the way, who's our charming checkout girl here? She's quite attractive and she looks kind of familiar.
Well, let me see if I can find that out for you.
It's got a pretty big cast. I'm looking at it now, but it's like, okay. Alexa Davalos, if that's what I'm looking at, as Sally.
Yes.
Doesn't ring any bells. She was good though. Good in the movie.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. She's very cute. That pissed me off. I know this is a side topic, but I was on LDG channel the other day, and Yvette came up with a snide remark saying that I hate women. And I was like, what the hell? I know some of these people are just totally ignorant. It's like, what the fuck?
I remember that. I don't know if I was on that stream. I think I just was lurking probably because I had stuff to do. But I remember you reacted to that person like, and it was like, what the hell are they talking about, right, Pop? It's like that was very strange.
Yeah, it's like I don't. People are just pathetic, you know. Like I said, she's very ignorant, very pathetic. Maybe she's extremely ugly and self-centered, maybe, or maybe she's got a inferiority complex or something. But don't take that shit out on me just because you're ugly. It's not my fault.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember if I'd ever heard of that person in the chat before.
Yeah, she's a. Yeah, I don't want to say anybody.
No, don't name names.
Yeah, we're just gonna carry on.
I truly love LDG, and I'm saying no offense, LDG. I know she's one of your regulars, but I thought that was just totally uncalled for.
It seems kind of silly to judge somebody when you don't know them at all. Like that seems kind of.
I know exactly. And now we're getting really good. She is. She's been around for a while, and this is where we're basically introducing our characters to the movie, right?
Right.
Now, if I remember right, wasn't she? Let me go back here a little bit. Sorry, guys. I think she was also in and the only reason I know this is because my mom was a fan and she used to watch it. But there was a short-lived TV series called Golden Years with her and her husband, where something about they were getting younger and younger. It was loosely based on a Stephen King book. It was called Golden Years, and the opening title was the song "Golden Years" by David Bowie.
Oh, that's cool. Gee, I never knew that. Never heard of that show. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I love that song.
It is. It's a very good song. It was the best part. I wasn't a fan of the show, but I liked the title. I liked the song.
Yeah, it's a catchy tune.
And of course, the kids all fascinated about that boathouse being destroyed. They're all talking about the different damage to their property.
Right, and Buddy's just like, yep, don't give a shit, blah, 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 blah. So, like, at this point in the film, I'm starting to not like his neighbor.
He is somewhat of a jerk.
Brent, yeah, I mean, in the end, we find out I feel for Brent, because I understand. And then this lady on the left here, her name is Irene. She's played by Frances Sternhagen.
Yes, Sternhagen. That's it. Yes,
Sternhagen. Sorry, my apologies.
No problem at all. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, like you said, a stellar cast. Like, this is just fantastic. So we have the MP here. He's looking for anyone from the military base, as we had seen before we went on our little tangent. A group of military soldiers were in uniform. They were getting ready to leave. They had been talking about there's a bus that's going to be leaving in 30 minutes and they can get out of town and get out of here. Because we don't know yet in the audience, but they know that there's something wrong.
Yes. And of course, everybody's speculating on what it is. Nobody really knows for sure. But of course, everyone's speculating, especially with all this. I mean, this is a small town, and they're not used to all this commotion going on. Oh, come on. We've got 10 days to leave. Look, I told you all these are canceled. So the MP tells them that they're not going anywhere. That, yeah, definitely all leave has been canceled, and they're going to have to report back to base. Shit, man. Another half an hour, and we'd have been gone. So they just missed their opportunity to get out of town. And now's where the town klaxon blares. And if anybody doesn't know what that means, that's the horn that you usually hear when there's like a tornado or other natural disaster going on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fantastic. And this is immediately where the movie shifts.
Already,
the alarm
right.
blares. Yeah, people are kind of like, what's going on? And they're starting to look outside because the mist is starting to come in. We can't see that yet. But we also get to see, oh my God, what's his name? I believe it's Norm? Where Norm?
Norm!
Yeah, Chris Owen. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
Comes running in.
it's going to go
This
sideways.
lady on the right is a religious. Yes, then the lady on the right,
Oh.
the tan sweater, she's a religious fanatic, isn't she?
Yes, she's kind of bonkers.
Oh yeah, she's crazy. Sorry, Norm is the bag boy. That's he has his own scene later.
Oh yeah, poor bag boy.
Oh, good, I can play video. All right, I was wondering about that. That's what I wasn't able to do
Nice.
last night. So I played just a second there so I could see if I am able to play a video. So I got my fingers crossed that hopefully that will stay. And here we are with another familiar face. Anybody who's watched Walking Dead.
Right, Jeffrey DeMunn.
Right, also,
And this is who I was talking about.
Yes, and don't forget he was also in another Frank Darabont movie, The Blob. As the sheriff.
Was he?
He was also in The Green Mile.
The Green Mile, yes, he was.
He was in Walking Dead. Was he in early season 2 or was he in season 3? I'm trying to place him now.
Nope, season 1, 2, and 3. He was the older dude.
Yeah, I remember. He was kind of really cool because he was nice to have an older dude in the main cast. Yeah. Yeah, I liked his character a lot in that show. Nice to see him again.
Yeah, and he's like comes in screaming, "There's something in the mist. It took John Lee."
Yeah,
like, hey, catch your breath, bro.
He's definitely not looking too good here. So they're like, "What the?" And people are kind of taking this seriously.
And always trying to calm him down, saying, calm down, because of course you're not wanting to panic the people, but if this guy saw what he said he saw, then of course what are you going to do, right? He's not going to calm down very easily.
Yeah, he's got all this blood on him too, which doesn't. It's a little unsettling, right?
Well, it adds to the urgency of the situation, right? And he's just like, something in the mist took John Lee. I don't know what it was, and they're all like, "What the hell?" And like the mist is coming in hard and fast. It's awesome. And here's this dude, screw that, I'm getting to my car. And he runs and he books it. And like I'm very confused, like, because clearly there's things buried like just inside the mist. Because like something's already killed someone. This dude's running out to his car. So like one of the things that I really enjoy about this is that we never get to see a lot of it. It leaves a lot of mystery and interpretation. You get glimpses here and there.
Isn't that wonderful? I love it.
So
yes.
You're saying the mist has mystery?
Oh, yes, I am.
Yes, it is. So as you can see, the mist envelops the car, and then you don't see what's going on, but you can immediately hear the man screaming, which lets everybody know that, oh my goodness, whatever it is right there within the mist. And apparently, whatever it is, we're not going to give it, of course, we'll get into it soon. But whatever's in the mist, apparently it stays within the mist, probably like for cover, I'm guessing.
Or maybe it's, well, in the early part, maybe it's physically connected to the mist at first.
I think it is, perhaps. And I actually love this guy. I love this guy here, obviously.
Now I
My
recognize
God, what a
him.
great character actor, yes.
Oh, What
William
was his name in?
Sadler.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know that name.
Right.
Yeah.
Most recently, he was the bright point in Bill and Ted 4. Or was it 3? 3, 4? But the movie
Okay.
was not that good, but he was a good bright point in where he plays the devil. So he was always
He
good in
plays
that.
Death
Oh,
in
that
Bill and
sounds
Ted's
interesting.
Bogus Journey.
Oh boy. Yes, I didn't see him in that, so it must have been earlier stuff I'm remembering. But yeah, he's a good actor.
And her on the right,
Yeah, he was
Laurie.
in Agents of Shield PvP. That's what you're recognizing him from.
Okay.
And
What's this blonde chick? She looks familiar too.
yeah, for The Walking
So,
Dead.
yep, once again, The Walking Dead. You were correct,
Oh,
right? Like
wow.
lots of familiar faces here. That
She lasted
is.
she lasted several seasons in The Walking Dead too. She was one of the main characters for a while.
Laurie Holden, and she's playing Amanda Dunfree.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think she was on the second season on the farm quite a bit, if I remember her.
I think that's where they first introduced her second season.
Yeah.
But I know she lasted for several seasons. She was up there to the point where she met Negan. I remember that. I remember the interaction between those two.
Oh
So
wow,
she
that's
was
like
she was
season 6 or 7 then.
yeah, she was on the show for a while.
Gosh.
And so here we have big speculation between the crowd. They're like, it's a chemical spill. It has to be. It's fog. We're
Right.
not
It could
sure.
be this, it could be
Right?
that. Yeah, nobody knows what to think. Power's out. And they're all speculating exactly, but they don't know. And obviously, when all you see is mist and you hear screaming, that's not going to help matters. And
And now there's an earthquake.
Yes.
And so one of the things that I did notice that after rewatching this, there's a lot of shaky cam in it.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of like a handheld camera.
But
it's not.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's not overdone. It's not like jarring. It's more of like you're there versus like, well, we gotta shake it just to like I don't know, hide hide our shitty filmmaking.
Right. Yeah, you've got a very good point. They used it to. The reason why shaky cam was invented was like we just saw that shot where the camera shakes to represent an earthquake. That is how you use shaky cam correctly, right? When you don't use it correctly are movies where there's pretty much very little going on to nothing, and they're doing it just trying to liven up the scene because what there is on camera is very boring. And here they're not having to do it to change it from being boring. Here they're doing it because, I mean, if you're going to have an earthquake scene, you've got to have a camera that shakes. We know that going back to Urban Allen and Star Trek, right? So you've got to have that shaky cam when it's called for.
Yeah.
And right. And use sparingly.
I didn't even, to be honest, I didn't even notice the shaky cam. It didn't distract me from the story because I was so, invested in the story by this point that, I was just thinking, oh, it's an earthquake. I wasn't thinking, oh, it's a shaky cam, right? So it didn't bother me at all in the film.
Right. Excellent. Well, no, not at this point, but like there are plenty of shots where it gets to later on where it's the night scene and there's just quick cuts and you can tell that it's very much a handheld shot throughout most of the film.
Okay.
Right, and the difference is too is it's used as a tool and not a crutch.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly.
Only used when necessary. Right. Believe me, if this movie was mostly shaky cam, we would not be watching it right now. I guarantee you, because I am not a fan of that.
Oh, apparently I sound like I'm drowning. Do I still sound like I'm drowning to you guys?
Well,
it cuts out a little bit, but we can tell what you're saying.
You're a little choppy, but
I want to remind everybody. Right, and as a reminder, everybody in the chat, it's not Nemesis' fault. He's on a phone, and I've been trying for some time to get us to band together and get him like a little laptop or something. The poor guy. I mean, he's a fellow YouTuber like the rest of us. He needs to get a computer. So
I mean,
he's doing the best he can with
it.
I know, but it's heartbreaking.
I'm
and we do
confused,
care.
Though.
I appreciate it, Pop. Thank you so much. Best thing I can do is just try and pop out and come back in.
You know, the
And
thing is,
that's what I'm going to do.
you most of the time you sound perfectly fine, Nemesis. Oh well, we'll soon find out, I guess, Bob.
Well, you're right. Well, consider he's on a cell phone. It's like cell service. Sometimes it's better,
Yeah,
sometimes it's not.
this is one of the few
Depends.
times that I've found him choppy, though. Usually, I wouldn't even think he was on a phone. Like usually, he
I
sounds,
know he
fine.
does. Yeah, usually he's pretty chipper. I wish I can get him a laptop though, even a basic laptop. I need
Yeah,
to start. I need to shut up and put up or put out, like
uh,
they say. Or
I wish I had the money, but I got so many things I need to buy for myself whenever I get some money. And I keep thinking, one of these days, months, years, whenever.
I know, and I don't like making excuses, but I am on a fixed income. If
Yeah,
you'd have caught me a year ago when I was working, I would have made it a priority, and he would have already had a computer. I
yeah,
feel really bad.
yeah. I definitely have some expenditures coming up that I need to set aside whatever budget I will have, but it's not
It's
the
death
biggest
out
budget.
there. It's the end of days, so we already have the religious fanatic, the lady on the
There we
right, that
go.
is, right, already instilling fear amongst the crowd. When we all know, I mean, reality, come on, guys, if we're in this situation, even if you believe this is true, you've got to keep everybody under control. I mean, the last thing you want is just total chaos.
That's one problem I have with the film as it went on, Pop. Like, I don't want to give away stuff this early, but that was one of my pet peeves with the film as it went on was with the crazy lady. It started really great on my nerves after a while. And I know it's supposed to, but it's just like, okay, it's a little too much at times.
It does happen, right? It does tend to push it over the edge. Please, everybody, just relax. See, that's what's good is you've got this balance here, who's helping keep everybody calm. And Nemesis of Eden is back. We let him in. Welcome back, Nemesis of Eden. Good to see you again.
Hey, Nemesis.
Hi. Hopefully that's better. If not, I tried.
Well, don't worry
It's
about it.
it's about the same, but don't let it bother you. We are totally fine, Nemesis.
Yeah, we can understand what you're saying, and that's really all that matters. So that's good.
And here we have, I'm not sure if you guys talked about it or not, but another Walking Dead character.
Alumni.
Yeah. Once again, I'm trying to place her because I haven't watched Walking Dead in so many years now.
And considering this is
she,
2000s, go ahead.
I was going to say she turns into a badass by the end. She's the one who blames Buddy for losing her son or whatever, and then they find him in the barn.
Well,
Melissa McBride.
Yeah, wasn't she the one that suffered a spousal abuse and then eventually because she becomes a super badass?
Yes, that's the one.
Okay, I remember. She was one of my favorite
I
characters,
think.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a cool character.
This scene, man, holy moly, though! Like, I don't know if you guys have started talking about just like
no, we have
I
not
know
started
I
talking
personally
about this scene yet.
Okay, like I don't know how I would react. I'd probably be a coward. I wouldn't want to just be like accompany this lady out into a place that I know we have literally just heard, but not 5 minutes ago, people killed and screaming. Like
I know, and we can understand,
right? But at the same time.
You can understand. You can identify. Obviously, you can identify. She wants to get home to her kids, so that's totally understandable. I mean, if I had kids, I would be the same way. I'd be willing to risk everything to get home to those to my babies.
100%.
I just want to mention though, don't forget this character. I'm not going to give anything away, but just don't forget that character.
I know PvP. I know what you're talking about, and you're just like. But at the same time, yeah, it's heartbreaking just to watch because it's like, yeah, no one volunteers to go help her out, and she wanders off into the mist.
Yeah.
Carol, isn't her name Carol? This one here in Walking Dead.
Yes, Carol. That's what I was trying to think of. Yes, she was an awesome character in Walking Dead.
Yeah.
She was a badass too.
Yes, she was. Right, and it's just like she's 8. Sometimes she forgets she's supposed to be watching him. Like, please, I need anyone. Is anyone willing to help me out? Like, I'm absolutely terrified to go, but I have to go. And like, she looks at the teacher. She looks at the new person in town. She looks at Brent. Like, she looks towards Ollie.
And everyone, you could see the look in their eyes. They're ashamed because they don't want to admit they don't have the guts, but they basically don't have the guts. So they're all looking down and feeling very guilty.
I think it has a lot to do about survival instinct too. Is just taking people over at this point, Pop.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. But it's like at the same point, right? It's just like, well, would you make this moral sacrifice just to help someone out when you know in all likelihood you're probably going to die? Like,
I wouldn't personally, because I'm I can be cowardly. So,
well, and common sense prevails that that if this small town is overran like we're seeing here, chances are pretty slim that kid's still alive. But nobody wants to tell her that. You don't want to tell her, obviously.
Well, right. It's like when Billy was asking his mommy okay, and he's like, "Oh yeah, she's fine." And it's just like you can only hope. Like everyone lives in hope.
Well, yeah. Don't
talk about fantastic acting. Look at that. Just she's crying. She's like, man, she puts on. This was the first time I saw her before. Of course, this is all before The Walking Dead, right? Like she's looking toward Brent, and even Brent, like she looks him in the eyes, and he's just like, nope. He has to stare down. Yeah. Right? There's a mom there. There's a dad there. They're all like, I've got my own kid to protect. And it's just like...
Yeah, we got our own troubles, Sorry, but, And don't forget, too, they just heard all that last guy that ran out screaming in the parking lot. So it's kind of like, that doesn't actually help us motivate to go out and help you. Sorry.
Yeah, I know exactly.
This shot right here where she's looking back and staring at everyone in the store, like, I'm trying to imagine it from her point of view too, right? Like, just looking at a bunch of cowards being like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to go die on my own. Like, I don't know. But once again, like, it's a terrifying situation. I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably freeze. I'd probably hide. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not... Anyways, since we've gotten past that amazing scene, we should do a chat.
I'll admit I'm a coward. I probably would not go with her. No offense.
Well, if I thought I might survive, I might think about it. But it seems like it's certain death at this point from what we've seen so far, right? So
yeah,
that kind of makes it hard to be brave, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and we're looking at it as outsiders too, right? Well, it's because Brent as well. Like, it's just like he's literally an outsider. He only comes out here because this is his lake cottage or whatever. So I can see him being like, dude, I have nothing to help you with. But these people all should know each other. Like, they all live with each other, right? This is an entire small town. It's in this grocery store. You'd think one of them would buck up and be like, no, like there's the big dude in the back who we find out later. There's a couple people who are actually brave that we find out later. Not that serves them any purpose, but yeah, we do have a few chats. So yes, but we should have our chats.
Lemon Pie says, I was being sarcastic on that one, LOL. And Suzanne says, Lemon Pie, hiya. Lemon Pie says, hey, Suzanne. And Suzanne says, what's happening, Nemesis? He sounds like he's drowning. Yeah, I'm sorry, Suzanne. We're doing the best we can with that. And hello, Brad Wolf. Welcome. Good to see you. Brad says, hi, all. Just popping in to wish you all a wonderful stream. Now, goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, but thank you for stopping by. Yes. Brad Wolf. And Suzanne says, Brad Wolf, hello. And then Pie says, hi, bye, Brad Wolf. And then Pie says, Suzanne, are you feeling any better? And Suzanne says, scurvy, sadly, no. And I'm sorry to hear that, Suzanne. My heart goes out to you, seriously.
Yes.
Lemon Pie, sorry to hear prayers for you.
Yeah, try
and Suzanne says, thanks, bud.
Get some rest there, Suzanne. Feel better.
And Nemesis of Eden says, thank you for stopping by at Brad Wolf 07. Appreciate you being here, bud.
Thank you for reading that, Nemesis. And Edge of Time says, don't squeeze the charm in my ass. Right? I remember Mr. Whipple. Lemon Pie, Nemesis has decided to come down into the chat to walk among the people. Yes, that's true. And we're all blessed by it. And Suzanne says, what is it with the boys and cars? I don't know. We like toys. Well, like girls and dolls. Girls like dolls. Guys like cars. And Suzanne Eckstein says, my boy just got back from walking his dog, but he came in the house with the grill up of a tough view.
What? Oh, okay.
Suzanne says, I'm still under snow.
Oh, you got snowed
Ooh.
in. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was lucky today. It was kind of nice, 51 degrees Fahrenheit. But yeah, we've been getting our snow off and on here in Arizona. I'll be glad when it's over. It does, it's fun at first, but it gets a little old, I have to admit.
Yeah, we've been lucky. We've been getting pretty nice weather for the last month here because we usually do, though, in my part of the world, right? Because, once it gets around end of March, early April, it starts to warm up, usually pretty good.
Very cool.
I really love that transitional shot where it pans out from her in the mist and it cuts back through the glass because there's obviously no glass there in that. Well, no, but there's no fog coming in. So unless they digitally did it and removed any of the fog that was coming from the outside, unless the fog itself is digital, in which case they didn't have to do that, and the glass would have been.
Yeah, that's a good point. But okay, let's start cleaning up. Okay, get the spilled bottle. So they want to distract everybody, so they're getting back to focusing on cleaning the mess in the store.
His son's freaking out, and being the good dad, he's trying to make him complacent, cheer him up. He's just like, it's okay, buddy, just breathe. Like, I mean, it's understandable. Like, I'm trying to imagine myself as an 8-year-old in this situation, like going from being like, oh, the cool destruction of the storm to, oh my God, people are screaming. There's been an earthquake. Like,
right, which is exactly how a little kid would react. At first, they think, oh, this is cool. And then, exactly like you said, then it would definitely change.
Right? He's like, he makes the comment here because we skipped past it, unfortunately, due to the way the slides are set up. But he's like, he's sucking his thumb. He hadn't done that since he was like 4 years old. And Irene's like, the old lady's like, he's in shock. Like, so we have the old school teacher here in the middle. The one on the far left, I don't believe I couldn't find a character profile, or sorry, not character profile, anything on IMDb for, so I don't know. And then the one on the right, of course, we've talked about.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Or I'm babbling away like some old biddy at a tea party.
It's interesting that these people are in this group early in the film too. I'm not going to give spoilers, but I found that was interesting.
The click.
Yes. Well, it's funny because
they connected early on, is what I'm saying, right?
Well, and people do find their clicks in it, and that's one of the scary parts too. Nice and scary.
Yeah. How true. How true.
You're going to keep checking on people. If you need anything, just holler. Of course, we can't. We aren't able. I know you guys have heard this before in the chat, but I'm sorry, I have to say it again. But we're not able to read all of the text in the movie or cover everything that happens, or we'll get copyright warnings. So that's why we have to skip every few seconds and kind of just give a summary of what we're seeing. And that's why we encourage you to watch this movie separately on your own so we don't ruin the experience for you. The kid's a good actor, his son. I do appreciate that. He's not annoying. That is difficult in Hollywood, is to have a little kid who is not annoying.
He's a real kid in the movie, basically, yeah.
I like him better than I do Carl. I never liked Carl in The Walking Dead. I wanted him to die in season 1. Or no, I'm sorry, guys. Let's just say disappear. Okay, nothing harsh. No offense. I just wasn't a fan of the kid.
Yeah, that's fair. You're entitled to your opinion.
I didn't mind him, but you got your wish
I know.
eventually anyway, Pop.
I heard, but that was after I tuned out, so I wasn't able to enjoy it,
Me
unfortunately.
too. Me too. I missed the big event myself. Yeah. But at that point, I didn't care anymore.
That was one of the last episodes I saw. In fact, was before I tuned out. Was Carl? He had that friend, and there was a borderline, almost a gay relationship going on,
Oh God,
and
glad I missed
that
that.
was right around the time I was tuning out. It was very
Jeez.
irritating.
I remember the last bit I was watching was he had a female girlfriend for a while there. So wow.
No, this was a boy they
So
found
here
in
we
the
get,
house abandoned.
Anyway, back to the film, perhaps, guys.
Back
yeah.
to the film.
So we got the generator scene here. It's backing up. There's gas leaking everywhere. So they're like, oh man, why isn't it venting out? So, and here we have just more banter between just all the people in the store discussing what's going on. They don't know, right? Like at this point, we haven't seen anything yet. We've just heard a dude screaming, and something has been grabbed, and Mrs. Carmody is going off, right? Like so,
Right,
it's
still
very
making
hard to
right,
describe the scene.
Yeah.
right. It's difficult
Yeah.
trying to tell her to shut up, but all she's doing is making people more paranoid.
Yep. Well, this is an issue I have with the film. I'm not going to say any more at this point, but it'll be pretty obvious when we get in maybe another hour from now.
I like that metal and rumbling, creaking ceases. You're just like, oh, interesting. So like, what we can hear that there's something going on outside. We don't know, obviously, like, because we think
Uh-huh.
there's just the mist right now. But the gate,
Exactly.
because we can't hear, but it's creaking. Something's rubbing up against the gate. They don't know what's going on.
I just wondered, did it seem like it started after they shut off the generator and the lights at this point? It
Oh, I'm
seemed to
not sure about that. I didn't
intensify.
think
Like
about that.
that was just an
Yeah, I'm gonna
impression
have
I
to go
got.
back.
I could be totally wrong, guys, but I just thought maybe the darkness was attracting it at this point, which doesn't make sense later in the film because later in the film it's kind of the opposite, right? But I just thought,
Different creatures.
well, yeah, maybe it's evolving. Is what I was thinking, right? Evolving at this point.
I think there's just multiple different species out there.
No, that makes sense too. Yeah.
Possibly.
Right? So they're talking about like, because Brent heard the sound. He's just like, or not Brent, David. David. So he's like, did nobody else hear anything? And he's like, no. So we've got Norm the bag boy, we've got Ollie, and we have Jim.
Jim and his redneck friend.
Yeah.
By the way, I just got another look at the bag boy there, and he looks darn familiar too. I'm sure I've seen him on other stuff. He's got one of those faces once again that I'm just thinking I've seen this guy somewhere.
And of course, somebody has to go check it out, right?
Yeah.
Poor Myron.
Hey,
Gorilla!
gorilla!
Welcome,
Yeah.
Gorilla. Good to see you. How are you doing there? You sound tired.
You okay?
Yeah, I ended up dozing off when I got home just a little bit ago. Just like woke up. Like, oh shit,
Well, that's
it's
good.
Tuesday.
That's fine. Or if your body's telling you to get some sleep, then get some sleep by all means.
All right, good night.
All right, bye, buddy. Thanks for stopping by.
So, Gorilla, correct me if I'm wrong, but this viewing is the first time you've seen this movie. Is that correct?
Correct.
That's what I thought. That's what I was telling everybody earlier. So we've got an even balance. Nemesis and I had both seen it before, and we were fans. And for you and PvP, this was the first time you guys had experienced it. So that's a nice balance.
Yeah.
So you're about, as you can see, Gorilla, we're about a third of the way through the movie.
A third
Yeah,
already?
Oh, we're not even. We're like
probably almost a quarter.
Yeah,
Quarter of the
Yeah,
way.
if we're going to get this done in 3 hours, I think we might have to increase the pace at some point. Just saying, you know.
We're doing okay, I think.
No, I agree.
I usually let it go at a natural flow without having to force it too badly.
Well, that applies to a lot of things, and that's probably a good plan most of the time.
Yeah. And plus, you have to let people say what's on their mind. I don't want to tell people, no, I don't want to hear that. Let's go on to the next thing. I don't want to do that. So I let people say what's on their mind. And so far, we've been doing really good at keeping it on task and keeping it on subject.
Trying to.
Yeah, pretty good so far. Anyways, so they're arguing here because Jim and the other people don't believe that David heard anything.
Right, they still that noise, right? That noise.
Yeah.
It's ambiguous.
Yeah, this is.
Well, because it wasn't just the noise; it was the gate was being pushed out. But I don't think he said that.
Well, this line here with Jim, it's like about the bullshit. Like, it's like, dude, this is when for me it started to go sideways amongst the people in the grocery market.
Yeah, it's the beginning of the breakdown.
Yeah, just starting, but it was starting to get edgy here, right?
All right, and we get Norm here being a teenager, unfortunately.
I'm trying to figure out this kid's face, but I've seen him in some other movie. Maybe
the American Pie franchise. He was the Shermanator.
The kid. Yes, he's the Shermanator. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Yeah.
He had more fun being the Shermanator than you did in this movie.
Oh, I'll bet, right? So they open up the loading dock gate, and here comes the Shermanator.
And of course, they can't. So all they see is just blinding light and mist, so they can't tell or discern what is out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would really like to know the budget of the fog machines on this movie.
Well, they definitely spent their money, but it's also like a bottleneck. They get considering location-wise, it was all shot in one place. They were able to save a lot of money as well. So I think by doing that, it probably helped allow better budget in other areas, including the CGI. I think they did a good balance with that, in my opinion.
How much do you think was CGI on the fog and was actual real fog machines? Like, it seems very realistic to me.
Most of the mist, I don't know the details, but it seems like most of the mist was practical, and it's I think the creatures that are CGI. I could be wrong.
They look CGI to me. I would agree with that, Pop. Oh, here we go.
And out comes the tentacle.
And it's our first real good CGI effect, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, not a good way to go. Poor Myron.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, poor Norm. Oh, he's just screaming.
Norm?
Yeah, that's Norm, the bag boy. And then here comes more tentacles, right? Like, it's just terrifying enough to have the one on there.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I would not want to be him.
Yeah, why is it always tentacles?
Because we were mentioning earlier, Gorilla, before you came on. This is loosely based. This is written by Stephen. Okay, well, let me go back up. It's based on a Stephen King book. Stephen King was a fan of H.P. Lovecraft. H.P. Lovecraft wrote about Cthulhu and creatures that lived way down deep in the earth for many, many centuries. And they were based on tentacles and this design. So it's
Okay.
actually
Yeah.
designed based on H.P. Lovecraft, a lot of his writings, the horror writer.
Okay. And also
Yeah.
this right here is why I'm a 2A advocate, and where I think everybody should carry around belt fed 50 cals.
Hey man, I understand,
Yeah, that
right?
would
Like
help,
look at
right?
that. And one of the beautiful things about all of these creature designs, painful. Just rips a chunk of flesh out of them.
Was that practical there? Because that looked practical.
No, I think it was CGI.
Damn, they sure did the blood and stuff good for CGI then.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's unfortunate because like what the scary thing is like Humboldt squids and most squids have tentacles that are like that. They have hooks and shit on them, so that's not too far off from real creatures. But like one of the things that I'm really happy about is that one of the dudes who designed the monsters in this film checked a bunch of previous monster movies to ensure that they didn't recycle any monsters from the
Oh, well, that's
past.
good.
So yeah, these are all unique creations because in the novella, they're only described in like 2 or 3 sentences. So he created, these are all new, unique for this film. And they're really well done,
Very cool.
in my
Yeah,
opinion.
this scene was truly excellent and very frightening, I gotta say. And then our poor bag boy is off to bag boy heaven, I guess, at this point.
Right?
know,
And even still,
Poor guy.
would you really
Go
call
ahead,
that
Gorilla.
heaven though? If you're going to bag boy heaven, would that really be a heaven?
Right, going up to heaven so you can be a bag boy for eternity, right? Yeah, that
Well,
sounds
hey,
like
but
heaven, huh?
you get to be God's bag boy. I mean, like, talk about a prestigious position, right?
And then you get to deal with all the Karens for eternity, right?
Oh,
I thought the
God.
Karens were going to the hot place.
Regardless.
Oh,
So unfortunately,
PvP.
Anyhow,
Well, PvP. You can say the same thing about the king's lavatory attendant there, but it doesn't mean I want to go to heaven and be the lavatory attendant.
well, there you go.
I love that, how they just shower them in actual dog food. They're like, oh, God.
Right.
But
Pops
like
open a
that would
bag
be
of dog
absolutely
food.
horrifying, right? Like because that tentacle is like at least 4 times thicker than anything else that's been come in there, and they're like, dude, we got to let him go. Like
And
it's
he's
too
really
late, David.
suffering too. Yeah, they're spending a lot
Yeah.
of time on this bag boy. He's really suffering. It's not like a quick, bam and he's gone.
Right? Like this thing like ripped him through the door. He like smashed his face on the underside of the door. It's ripped out parts of his leg, parts of his chest. He's like, yeah, like he doesn't. This isn't a pleasant death.
Oh, hey, Nemesis, is there something up with your audio tonight?
Yes, apparently there is.
Okay,
Yeah, he's on his phone tonight, Gorilla.
all right.
Yeah, we mentioned that earlier, girl. Like, yeah, Nemesis is having a little bit of a problem with the audio tonight.
And
But, like, not
I'll
too
be
bad.
right back, guys. I gotta do something for my dog. Be right back.
Okie doke.
Well, here while you're doing
Yeah,
that,
dude,
I'll
no worries.
catch us
Is that
up
any
on
better?
chat. Yeah, I'll catch us up on chat here.
Yeah,
Where
finally,
were we?
we got Gorilla for the chat master back.
Yeah, and PvP says, I hope you get better, Suzanne. It suggests that thanks PvP is just an issue of waiting for meds to arrive. Oh, that sucks. I always just go straight downtown, but yeah. It says, hey, Monkey Man. Apparently, that's my new nickname.
It certainly is
And
when Suzanne's talking.
Scurvy is questioning Monkey Man, and Suzanne says, Scurvy, Gorilla always calls you Scurvy. I call him Monkey Man, lol. Oh, lol. Hey, Gorilla, says Scurvy, and hey, you doing? Hey, hello to everybody else who's here. Here, I literally just arrived not too long ago. And welcome, Cam's Crash Courses. Welcome, C4.
Hey, Cam.
Yeah,
Hey, Cam.
yeah, Scurvy says, Gorilla calls me Scurvy. Oh, I hadn't noticed. And Screwy says, hey, Cam's collision classes. And C4 says, the big always gets it first. The deep ones of Lovecraft. King is a huge fan. Oh, I didn't think it was going to be the bag boy who got it first. I thought it was going to be his neighbor who got it first because he's the token guy.
Whoa, wow, bro.
Hey, is there? Hey, I'm just saying it. Look at like a lot of the movies in the 50s and 60s that they'll have the token guy who's the first one to die.
This isn't from the 50s or 60s.
Yeah. C4 says Scurvy. All my crashes involve only my vehicle and a tree or three.
Or three.
Those darn trees. You gotta watch out for those trees.
Well, we actually got a corner here that goes around the lake there that people tend to like to race around the lake. They call it Dead Man's Curve because not only do people tend to go off the curve there, but at the worst spot in the curve is a tree that they refuse to take down.
So they leave the tree up so more people will die? Is that the
well,
thinking?
the problem is the people who go off road are the ones that tend to be racing around it in the first place.
Yeah, and I doubt they leave it up because it kills people. I mean, it might be of historical value or something like that.
I don't know what the reason is, but every time people are going around that curve at 60, 70 miles an hour, they hit that tree.
Well, that'll teach them.
I'm amazed the tree is still living. It must be a damn tough tree, is all I can
Yeah,
say.
it's a testament to nature. Yeah.
Yeah, Scurry says, say hi to the kick-ass girlfriends, Cab. The Cab says, I don't think she does rock. And Suzanne says,
very cool.
Says, girl, my meds come from another province or what do you call it? Our state.
Province.
Gotcha.
What did I say?
You said provenance, I think.
Oh, is there a difference?
Yeah.
I love that look. Oh, man.
It's not a big deal, but yeah, there is a bit of a difference.
So we have, all right, are we almost done on the chats or what's going on?
Yeah, we're almost done. Suzanne, or Cab, Suzanne, I hope the meds show up soon. You know how that stuff is stuff from the VA. It always takes forever. Oh, yeah, the VA sucks.
Well,
I know
that
from
the
one of my
VA in
coworkers.
Canada, but I'm surprised you don't have a local drugstore. Like, I can drive like 15, 20 minutes and get my meds at my drugstore. Like, it's too bad you have to get them shipped in because we do have snail mail. Canada Post snail mail.
And Scurvy here says, province, that ain't even American.
No, it's not.
It says, yes, indeed, I will have to be by the end of the week.
Okay.
And nope, Canadian. All right, we're all caught up.
All right, we're all caught up and missed the best part of the movie. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, did we miss the part where he punches out the guy?
Yeah, we did. Like, dude, oh my god. Anyways, so carrying on now that we're back into the lovely scene of.
I'm sorry if I had to skip over something, guys.
It's not your fault, Pop. We're just trying to keep this along at a good enough pace, but we just happened to click through that part.
You're talking about Jimbo getting punched out?
Yeah, it was an amazing set of like the looks from David, just the reaction from everyone. He's just like, I'm sorry, I froze up, and then just fucking boom, and hits them, and like it's just this beautiful because like once again getting back to like, and what we didn't get to see because we clicked through it really fast is David cut off the tip of the tentacle. He was attacking the big, thick monster tentacle that was as it was exiting, and he was able to cut off a little bit of the tip of the tentacle.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like
which will come in important later.
Foot and a half or something, maybe, right? Nemesis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that scene too, and Jim's going, "Oh, I'm sorry," and he deserves to get punched out. And it's like, what do you mean you're sorry? you're sorry. The kid's dead. You're sorry. I'm glad he got punched out. That made me mad
Right?
too.
Well,
Exactly right here. This line right
so
here.
mad.
Yeah, he's a fucking kid. He's supposed to be stupid. What's your excuse? It's just
Oh
Exactly.
yeah, I love that line. I loved that line. But I thought it's so funny that the guy goes, "Oh, so since you went to college, you think you're smarter than us?" And then turns out the guy was right.
Yes.
I think just
Which
about
I'd probably have this,
most people are smarter than Jimbo.
yeah. But I'd
As a-
probably have
Well,
a different attitude.
And as we've all learned, college doesn't necessarily make somebody smarter or give them common sense. That's a fallacy.
Yeah.
What? Jim went to college? Oh my God, I can't believe it. I must have missed something.
No, we're
Well,
talking
and,
about the main character.
I can't tell you how
David.
many. When I was working for the schools, I can't tell you how many teachers I met that had no common sense. So yeah, college is definitely does not guarantee that. Does not guarantee brain matter.
Yeah.
Oh, I met good and bad teachers at college. Some were great and some were useless. Yeah, I would agree.
Exactly.
It's a mixed bag for sure, Pop.
And I love the arguments here because they're like, you got to shut the generator off. We can't do that because we still can't get outside. So there's no power anymore. But they're like, we can't tell anyone. And he's like, but we have to tell people, David. Like, we have to stop people from going out into the mist. Like, we've already witnessed Norm just get slaughtered. Like,
Well, didn't they say too that the generator is kind of irrelevant? Like they don't even need the thing at a certain point?
Well, the food won't spoil and all that. That is what they
Yeah.
said. But it'd be nice if they had some lights or something.
yeah.
They still got lights in the main part of the building, though, right at this point. So
Yeah, and well, that'll come into play later. So basically, David's just trying to be a good dad. He's like, hey, look, Billy's already freaking out. Like, I don't need him to see me covered in blood. Just please go distract him while I get changed and whatnot.
makes sense.
And so there's a little bit of a bond forming between whoopsie doodle.
Yeah.
David
Yeah.
and oh my gosh.
Yeah, and me and my coworker were talking about this. Like, which store would you want to be trapped in during an event like this? And I was saying,
not Walmart. Definitely not Walmart. Oh my goodness.
If I worked there, I would probably want that because I would have access to areas that other people wouldn't know about. But I mean, like, I would pick the one with food versus the one with medicine, generally speaking.
oh, I said Walmart. They're for plain and simple facts, especially the ones down, especially like the one down in Iowa. You got all your food there. You got a kitchen to prep the food in there. You got plenty of clothes. You got your pharmacy and first aids there. You even got the odor for all these people who are gonna start stinking up here pretty soon. You know. Then you got access to large cache of weapons and ammo. There
In America.
Don't forget, but don't forget, Gorilla. You'll have the Walmart crowd. You'll have the Walmart customers, and those are the worst to be with in a situation like this. You don't want to be around them.
Oh, dude, it would be like Jim and his mechanic buddy times 1,000.
Yes. All these overweight women saying, I get what I want because I have kids and I deserve the right, and nobody's going to tell me otherwise. And no, I couldn't handle being around a bunch of people like that.
I'd go with Great Canadian Superstore, which is only a couple kilometers from here, because they got all the food you could ever imagine, like, everything, like massive. It's probably the biggest supermarket in the area. Plus, they got a full pharmacy with all the drugs you'd ever want. Plus, they got a clothing section with all kinds of clothes that would so people would have all kinds of clothes that would fit them. Yeah, that's the one that comes to mind for me. It's pretty well stocked with just about everything you'd need in a crisis.
Yeah. So basically,
Yeah, no, but in between the two of these stores, which one would you rather be stuck in? The one with the expiation lady, or we'll find out. This is probably still the better place in this setting to be.
Well, at least he got beer.
There we
Yeah,
go. That's what I'd be doing too. Where's the beer?
Yeah.
and
Funny
just
thing is, they don't sell beer at our local supermarkets, but they do have cider and wine, so you can still drink your face off. Fortunately,
Interesting. That's interesting.
yeah,
And the horrible realization here that the entire front of the store is plate glass. They're extremely vulnerable.
Yep.
oh God, yeah. Apparently, that you can tell that's definitely a very low crime area. Then,
Well,
because
yeah, it's
well, yeah, it's a small town, Gorilla. So yeah.
yeah, nobody, even our stores here have plexiglass there, and especially our gas stations there, because well, we don't have the same problems they did in where was it? I think it was in Texas that would smash through the front windows, attach a chain to the ATM, and then drive
Oh
off
yeah.
down the road with the ATM.
Yep.
So you're saying you have people driving away with your ATMs in your local little town there, Gorilla?
That's
No, they
right.
had that in Texas, but our area, we still take the precaution of plexiglass at least.
Okay.
It's gotten to the
Well, that's
point now
good.
where they're putting. It's gotten to the point where they're putting GPSs into those ATM machines in case people steal them. And here they're basically trying to decide what to do. So if you're wondering out there why it's so quiet, everybody, that's what's going on within the movie.
Got another turning point, critical turning point, I think, here in this scene too.
Right. And he's arguing with his neighbor. So
Yeah.
this is where some of that hostility is boiling up to the surface.
Oh yeah. It's all
yeah,
coming back. Yeah.
right. Because they've all just been civil with each other basically because they're neighbors. But I don't think they've ever you can tell he's just like, you guys are all fucking with me. Like you're just mad, and it's just like
Yeah. And, yeah. With this one here, here I thought at first I thought, oh great, he's gonna pull out the race car. They're just messing with him because he's black and that. No, they're just messing with him because it turns out he just thought they were messing with him because he's an asshole.
I think it has something to do with him being a lawyer too, actually, Gorilla.
because he
Possibly.
sued David.
In
Yeah.
his mind, because you know how people hate lawyers a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And so he's getting in defensive mode. And the weird shit is this guy as a lawyer should have some, reasonable amount of intelligence. And he should be able to realize when he goes back and sees what he sees coming up here that there's definitely something actually happening
Yeah.
and they're not bullshitting him. But,
Yeah.
well,
I'm just glad they went with that route versus the going with the race card like they would have done today.
oh, the race card would have been a cheap cop out for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so they're all fighting. So basically, he's like, "Oh, like, Jesus Christ, you're drinking on the job," and he's like, "Dude, like you have no idea." And he's just like, and like once again, how do you explain this to everyone? It's like because you can't convince this guy to come back. He just tried to like grab him, and be like, "Dude, you have to come see this." And he's like, "I'm gonna sue your ass off and send you to jail." And it's just like, "Oh, for fuck's sakes, dude!" Like so stubborn, and that's what she brings up too.
True. And there's the part that was cut off with the axe. Still alive.
And this is a really good character scene too.
And this is realistic too, because if you're around a religious person, they're going to start going overboard here if they were ever in a panic situation, and they're going to let everything they've learned from the Bible and from church dictate what they do next, which can be frustrating. No offense to anybody who's religious. I talk to him every day, but does he answer? That's the question. Does he answer?
Right? And like, oh man, and like just this scathing comment, right? She's like, don't ever mock me. If I ever want a friend like you, I'll just squat down and shit one out. I'm just like, holy fuck.
Yes, exactly, bitch.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like, oh.
God, she's the one kind of religious characters that I always hate. You know that they know that they're going to hell with heaven. They're self righteous and they think they're better than everybody else.
Oh yeah.
That's a powerful word right there. Denial is a powerful thing, and it's just like, because Brent is like, he's given up. Like he's like, he doesn't want to have any part of this, so he's trying to get people to leave the store with him.
You know what I didn't get about this crazy fanatical religious lady? She starts talking about wanting to meet her maker at a certain point, right? And I'm like, lady, I'll open the door for you. Just walk out into that mist and you'll meet your maker real quick.
Yeah.
But she's far too important to herself at that point of the film, though.
But
right?
that's
She's
what
the
I
messenger
wish
of God.
somebody. I wish somebody would have just said that to her at a certain point and called her bluff, right? It's like, hey, you want to go to heaven? It's available. Just walk out that door, sweetie. You know, go figure. And she would have saved the rest of us a lot of grief too, right, in the store.
And there she is quoting the scriptures.
I mean, you know, she put on a great performance. I can't deny that because, you know, well, she is an award, winning actress, of course. But I got to say, this was one point where the film started to grate on me a little bit because we got a lot of crazy religious lady.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I think it's amazing because you wouldn't get someone like that in that situation, and it's terrifying to think of what you would be like being stuck with that person.
Oh no!
How
don't get
how
me
long
wrong.
Do you think you could last PvP if against someone like that mentally?
No, in the context of the story, I get it, Nemesis. It makes sense in the context of the story. It was just as a viewer watching it, I just got tired of listening to her after a while, and so that started to affect my rating eventually.
That's fair.
It was just like, I get it, but I felt like I was getting hit over the head, after a while. But that's just my opinion, of course.
Right? I like Jim's line there. He's like, "Oh, so I can't fucking smack her, but you can." She's just like, "I'm sorry, I snapped," and I'm just like, and once again, she even just uses it to turn her around. She's like, "Look at that, a little bit of blood, a little bit of expiation."
Well, this is one point. At this point, I'm starting to think, why don't they just, slap some packing tape over her face and just throw her in the stock room somewhere? Just tie her up and put her in the stock room. It's just like, enough of this, right? Because she's just making everybody go crazy at a certain point, right? And and that's not good.
Yeah, but at what point is that you can't just like start tying people up because I don't like what you're saying, I'm going to throw you in the stock room.
Well, once they start making people go crazy and everybody's going to suffer for it, I'd say maybe that's the tipping point.
Yeah, but that's just your personal opinion against everyone else in the store, dude.
Yeah, but still, this is no longer a democracy at this point. This is like survival mode we're getting into, right?
And I bet you they would turn on you in a second and eviscerate you if you tried to do anything to her.
Of course.
Right? This is a small town. Everyone knows each other. They are well aware of this lady and her antics.
Yeah, but they're also, it seems like most of them are not a big fan of her at this point before she starts brainwashing them, right?
Well, of course not. That's the beauty of her character.
I'm just saying they had time to deal with her and they didn't, and they paid the consequences eventually.
Exactly. Right? Like this guy too. He's like, I think this Brent's a little too tightly wound. He's going to get people killed. And Brent's just like, for fuck's sakes. And it's like, well, it's true. But he's like, I also think that we could use that shotgun of yours. And he's like, yeah, I saw where you parked, old man. I'm going to go out there and get the shotgun, get the shells. And they think he's going to drive back.
Yeah, I really like these two dudes, actually. They're both kind of hardcore dudes, and I kind of enjoyed them.
Yeah.
And he decides to take the step out into the mist.
I gotta say, this was one of my favorite points of the movie when the lawyer finally walked out the door.
All right. So
I gotta say, they're very leisurely about getting out there.
Well, I mean, ultimately, if I was going to be going out into the mist, I'd be quiet. Like, I'd be sneaking almost.
Yeah, I think I'd be walking.
Yeah, I think I'd be. Yeah, I was going to say I'd probably be running.
I try to get inside a vehicle as quickly as I could, actually.
Yeah. Well, we've seen how that reacts, though, right? Like, this dude walks pretty softly, but at the same time, I feel like running would immediately attract the attention of something.
I think it's like 6 to 1 and half a dozen of the other. I think you're screwed either way, right, Nemesis? Like, I don't think you're going to survive, you know.
Take your chances, take your pick. Yeah. Like, you guys are running, all sneak.
Hey, if I'm going to have some tentacle horror kill me, I'd just rather run fast and get it over with, is what I'm saying.
I mean, that's fair. Just to me, it would trigger a predatory response. So I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to be quiet, stealthy, use the fog to my advantage.
And then you'll get eaten.
Exactly. Right? Just plucked and be like, but at least I'll have gone out on my own terms. Just like you guys running into death with open arms.
We all hope for it, don't we? Yeah.
Oh, dude, right? And so it's beautiful. So one thing that we didn't talk about is they tied a rope around them to see how far they get.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome.
And so now something has grabbed the dude, and it is pulling him out like a fish on a line.
Yes.
Yes.
Go back.
And that part was really cool to me. Just to get, like, where it actually showed the force with the shoes scuffing, and you're just like, oh shit, like, because they have to struggle enough that they're digging their heels in to like burn rubber on the floor, and then up it goes. So something has grabbed this dude. It is like he's up in the air. And the beautiful thing is, right, we never know what this is.
Correct.
Well, yeah, it probably helped with the budget, and also it helped with the mystery and the suspense, because it's like my favorite horror films are the ones that don't show everything. They leave a lot to your imagination, right?
Oh, exactly. Your imagination is far more powerful than anything I can put on screen for you to see.
Yeah, and all we need to see is a little bit of red paint on that rope convinces us of what happened. So, and then we see that.
And then we see that. Yeah, right. You're just like, oh shit.
Oh man, not a good day for that guy.
Hey, at least you went out quickly.
Well, yeah, I imagine so, since his upper torso is missing.
Yeah, I'd rather go out quickly than slowly.
Right, like Norm. Norm seemed to go out pretty slow.
Yeah, you got that right. Yeah, quick is better than slow.
And then we have this nice little sentimental bet between. They're from the same town, so they're high school kids. They grew up with each other, right? And it's like she asked, like, "Hey, man, why didn't you ever ask me out?" And he's like, "Oh, I guess I'm just an idiot." You're like, yeah, I feel you, bro.
I've been there a few times. I still think they should have maybe got it on before before the movie continued. But oh well.
Yeah, but she didn't want it to be some cheesy at work in the break room type deal.
Yeah,
Oh,
she literally said that.
I
So, I mean, I get it.
Here we go. Here we go with the bugs.
Oh, dude, I love these bugs. But like, yeah, it was just the one little thing that she said. He's like, because it makes you feel for the army guy, because he's just like, she's gonna leave, and he's just like, hey, I know we're not gonna have sex, but like, can we just stay together, just you and me, for a little while? And she smiles, and they just go to cuddle, and it's just like, oh, that's a nice little bit of character interaction. And then we have the devil bugs. I love these things with the scorpion stingers and the skull face. And they're acting just like bugs do.
This is all CGI, of course, right?
Well, yeah, unfortunately, like, to make these in practical effects would have been so expensive.
Oh, it would have been incredibly difficult, yeah. But I think they look really good. Like, you guys know me well enough to know I'm generally not a fan of CGI, but I think in this film it actually works quite well. I thought it was very well done.
It does. They did a great job, yes. Yeah.
Agreed. Right? And she's like, it's very bizarre because it's funny because she does say a lot of religious scripture things, but she's accurate in a lot of the things that happens in this film, and it's a really weird parallel because I don't know if it was intended or not. I haven't read the novella, but it's just like interesting.
You would think they would common sense. I mean, the very first thing that crossed my mind is, let's get these lights away from the windows. Maybe it's the light that attracts the bugs.
Oh,
the first thing that crossed my mind.
I would probably, I'd be in awe, just like these guys. I'd be like, that's crazy. Look at that. And then as soon as I would probably clue in and be like, oh yeah, hang on a minute.
Yeah, I would think, okay, bugs generally are attracted to light. This is plate glass windows we're dealing with. Maybe we should not have the lights on.
Right? Because, I mean, at the time, it doesn't seem like anything's really bad. They're just kind of skittering along. They're not doing any damage to it. And then here comes the pterodactyl. And you're just like, oh my God.
Yeah. Now we start getting breakage.
Big assholes.
Yeah. So one thing that we didn't mention also is that the teacher had a gun in her purse with 6 shots for her revolver, I believe. Mm-hmm. And so it turns out that Ollie was the state marksman, so they've given him the revolver. So they have one gun to defend themselves against this entire store. So they're using mop buckets filled with gasoline.
So was that
no? It's lighter fluid because there's lighter fluid in the store.
Was that?
Okay.
Wasn't that far-fetched, though, that an American supermarket had no guns for sale?
Well,
what's going on with that, Gorilla?
That's more common. It's rare you see a supermarket that does have guns. Well, I think Walmart's the only one I can think of.
Well, okay. That's also a food only store. So, and basically everything is either your cleaning products or food there, or stuff to cook your food.
Right, but I know that in fact, even here, it's not even all the Walmarts where you have guns. I'd say it's rare that I see a store that has both food and guns here in the U.S.
Interesting. Okay. So, and I love this scene. This scene is just pure pandemonium and chaos, right? There's a lot of cuts in this scene and a lot of quick things that we're going to miss. There's one part where, this lady's running down the aisle and she slips and smashes her shoulder, and it only happens quickly, but you're just like, oh, God, you can hear it, and it's solid, and she's, crawling on the floor, and there's another lady who's just, staring at her while she's, in agony on the floor. Meanwhile, it's cutting around here, and the pterodactyls, at first seemed harmless because they're only eating the bugs, and now it's left on this dude and it's literally ripping the back of his neck out and
what I like too, I think the quick cuts in this sequence serve a lot because
Oh, beautiful.
you don't want to dwell on the CGI too long, right? Because if you dwell on the CGI too much, it is going to start to look CGI-ish.
Correct.
But if you
Yes.
just have a second here, a second there, and then you go to like, I think, is that a practical effect? It's got to be where it's ripping the guy's neck apart. So
Yes.
No, that was
that
CGI.
nice mix. Is that all CGI?
It was all CGI.
Damn, that looked very practical to me.
Dude, the CGI in this movie stands up to this day. It looks fantastic. Like, yes, we know it's CGI, obviously, but it's hands down, like you guys said. It's very well done.
One question though, Nemesis, when some of the smaller bugs, like the mosquito bugs or whatever the hell you want to call them, when they land on the floor and people are crushing them with their shoes, is that practical?
I genuinely don't know.
Because that felt practical to me.
I think it's CGI, in my opinion, but I'm just guessing.
It looks like CGI, but like, and then this scene, right, where it's just like, it's really fascinating, where she's like, go ahead, like, my will unto you, I will die for you, and like, the scorpion bug reacts. It lowers its stinger, looks at her, and flies off.
I was so mad at that. That I was like, oh, come on. I was waiting for the suspenseful wait, like a staring at her. Then all of a sudden it stabbed her, but no. They had to fly off.
Yeah,
Gorilla was disappointed.
I want to see it die then too, because
that's why I'm giving it an F.
Do you think it was because she didn't have fear, or it was because of her religious quality that it didn't attack her?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know, right? Because it's like
either, right? Either one.
They leave it ambiguous.
Yeah.
Regardless, she uses it. Oh, dude, me too. Like, trust me, I am in your boat. She's very grating. She's very hard to deal with throughout this entire film. That's why I love her. And I usually hate most characters like it. I don't know. It's taken me. Oh, and this, right? Like,
oh, here's the poor checkout girl. She's done.
Yeah, got stung in the neck.
Swollen face and everything. Man. Very cool.
Sure, at least she should have made out with Soldier Boy for a little while. Oh well.
Yeah, it almost
did. Or maybe, but who knows? And then something grabs this body. Sorry, Gorilla. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, man.
I was gonna say it's almost like she looked like she was having an allergic reaction to it versus poisoned.
Both. She was envenomated. She was having anaphylactic reaction, causing severe swelling. Like, it was bad. This is otherworldly venom. You have no cure for this. And then once again, a nice just little bit of character interaction between David and Amanda.
Did you guys think at that point that David and Amanda, it was almost like a love interest thing developing? Like, I figured it wouldn't develop, but it almost felt like it could develop at that point.
Funny you should mention that, PvP. There's a note on at least Wikipedia, which is where I'm getting most of my information. So
okay.
Take it with a grain of salt. But they were saying that at some point she was supposed to be married, and they were supposed to have an affair with each other. And the director was like, I don't want that in my film.
Right,
I'd rather have them as a platonic. Yeah, right?
Yeah, but I thought it could have gone for that trope, right, Nemesis? And I actually was glad it didn't as well, but there was definitely a strong hint that it could have gone that way, at least when I was watching it, you know?
Yes. 100%. And dude, and one of the things that we missed in the quick cuts is there's a dude who tried to get a burning torch and kicked over the lighter fluid and slipped and fell in it and lit himself on fire. So there's a dude and I believe it was one of the army guys.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so he's got severe third-degree burns, or at least second-degree, because he says he's in agony. So, like, if you were in third-degree burns, I'm not sure if you would feel anything.
Well, when you're on fire, you feel it. Trust me.
Well, that's for sure. But like, if a third-degree burn is so bad that it's melted through most of your skin tissue and killed the nerves, I don't know how much pain you would be in.
Yeah, if your nerves are gone, that probably would make sense. But I just want to know when Gorilla was on fire, because I want to hear that story. Sorry.
Well, okay, so, I mean, we're at the 2-hour mark. We're doing pretty good. Did we want to do a quick check on the chat?
Yeah, how are we doing on that, Gorilla? Thank you.
We only got 5,876 of them.
No, there you
Oh,
go.
perfect.
Oh,
We're
that's not
popular
bad. We can
tonight.
always-
Awesome.
Yeah, we can always tackle that.
Yeah, and Suzanne says PvP. I do, but my drug coverage is free for another year in Manitoba. So
Oh, good.
Okay, I get it. I get it, Suzanne.
Yeah.
Hey, if it takes 3 or 4 days, that's cool.
and Scurvy here says Canadian. Yeah, I think I heard of it. It says okay. I'll stop chatting so you guys can get through it.
Oh,
At PvP,
Oh,
you
you're
already
fine, Suzanne.
is that mine?
yes.
The land of eggnog.
And Cam says, I want to be a place that has guns, drugs, and food. That's why I was saying
And
I was
horse.
at Walmart.
Guns, drugs, and food. That sounds like a rock and roll song to me.
And Cam says, shop smart, shop S smart.
That's right.
And Cam says, that's Andre's Braher. He's a good actor.
But he's a black guy who plays lawyer.
Okay. Yeah, apparently he was brother, I think you meant. Or maybe.
No, Andre Brower.
Oh, yeah,
That's his
that's
name.
the guy that played in Brooklyn 911. That's where I recognized him from.
Oh, of course. Yeah, he's fantastic.
Alrighty, that's all the chats.
So they're saying she's our very own Jim Jones. They're talking about that religious fanatic lady. For anybody who doesn't get that.
Oh my God. Yeah, I got that reference, and I was just like, oh.
This is
Yeah.
comedy.
We can talk about that on the rumblings from. Oh,
Well, this is once again why I don't know they didn't. I mean, okay, maybe they don't have to tie her up, but they could confine her in the stockroom and lock the door or something. Like, because this lady is poison. Let's face it.
oh, dude, we recognize it immediately, but like, I don't know, for story purposes, I'm assuming. Well, even still, man, I don't see in that situation that people would tie her up. They'd just be like, most people would just try and find a corner and be like, oh, I don't want to be involved. And you would still hear it. It would be influential whether you wanted to or not.
Yes.
But most people, as you saw, don't want to get involved in anything. They don't want to help the lady out. They don't want to go outside. They don't want to go to the pharmacy. Like, everyone's here to look after themselves and keep to themselves as best they can.
So you're talking law of the jungle at this point.
Basically, right? And like, unfortunately, because she is so charismatic, she's holding a lot more power than people.
Well, I don't find her charismatic at all personally, but I get what you're saying, Nemesis.
Well, it's a fire and brimstone preacher, right? Like, there's a certain charisma to that.
I guess to more basic minds like Jim Bob there, I guess she might have an appeal, but I'm just thinking, wow, charlatan, Not that I don't respect people's religious opinions, but when it gets this Looney Tune, it's like I just have to tune out after a while.
Oh, dude, I know. Well, and it's funny because even Irene, we missed one of my favorite parts of the movie where she hucks the can of peas and it nails her in the head. And she's like, stoning's in the Bible. It's okay, bitch. And she's just like,
Yeah, that was so good. I love that scene too, Nemesis. Yeah.
Oh, way to spoil Nemesis.
No, we've already passed that.
Dude, we just passed that.
No, I thought it was further down into the movie here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it? Because they just mentioned stoning, so I thought that was the point where she throws the peas at her.
Oh, yeah, that is it. Then, yeah, that is it.
Okay.
I thought it was still later in the movie. See, my problem is I got to the hour mark there, and I was looking at it like, oh, so we got about 20 minutes left of the movie. Nope, we still have a whole hour to go.
Well, maybe 80 minutes or something.
No, but I was talking about when I was watching this.
Okay. Anyway, we're
right,
only
here
2
we
hours
go.
in, so we actually might get this done in 3 hours if we keep our fingers crossed.
No, we're doing very well. Like,
2 hours, we're not doing bad.
So we're coming in. They've made it across the parking lot, and we are in one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
The pharmacy.
They've come across. Yes.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. And what did they say at the start? They said something about they mentioned, oh, they left the door open.
Yeah.
And then we know what that means.
Yeah. Well, now we can see it, right? Because there's spider webs covering everything. So we're just like, well, clearly this wasn't like this before, but it's just like.
Yeah, we're getting close to the. I think the thumbnail that Pop put on the video tonight, if I remember correctly.
Silvadine, pain meds like Vicodin or Oxycontin.
Yeah, get some of that OxyContin shit. That'll you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm
your
taking
pain.
right now. Yeah, that'll do the job. Unfortunately, it puts you out.
Right.
Makes you very tired.
Mm.
And I love it. So we hear some noises. We don't know what it is yet, but
We could probably guess what it might be.
right, we get the big reveal here. Oh my god. And they pan over. And there's a hand.
Dun, dun,
Sticking out of the spider webs.
dun.
Right? And then they're like, oh, there's another one. So like people were in here and they've been attacked by spiders, basically. Everyone's screaming. They're freaking out. There's a desiccated corpse. And then there's the MP from earlier that we saw.
Wasn't it the
Who
does the lawyer show up in here too, or I guess not?
Not a good way to go.
Oh, dude, I can't remember PvP.
Well, the worst part is they're still alive, right? They're like cocooned, but they're still going, "Help me, help me."
And this is the part here where the MP goes, "It's all our fault."
Yeah. Oh God, I can feel him inside me. I can feel him.
Oh, this is horrific. I remember this. This is when it gets really super gross.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's like, man, okay, we're into total gore at this point. Like total gore.
And there we go, the big reveal. And it's like, okay, so it's shooting out some thread. No big deal, right? Web sizzles.
Yeah, don't.
Right? So it shoots out acidic web.
Avoid the web.
Right? Beautiful. There's a beautiful shot of the monster. And here they come, and there's lots of them.
And I hate spiders. That gives me the creeps totally.
Oh, dude, right? Like, I struggle my best to, like, handle spiders, but even... And so there, that's a beautiful shot where it's, like, melting away. And what we don't get to see is it melts through his leg.
Oh, well, we see that.
Yep, right.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Screaming and shouting. Yeah, I bet I'd be screaming and shouting.
Right? They're trying to tourniquet it, and it's just like, bro, just, like, grab him and go. Like, tourniquet or not, like...
It's a valiant effort. I must say, you got to admit, there's some bravery in this scene, right?
Holy shit. Like, Irene is my hero in this movie, where she, like, lifts up the insecticide when the spider comes down and she torches it. This little scene that we just had here, oh my god. Maybe bust a gut. I thought it was thoroughly entertaining.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Gotta say, this really is one hell of a film, guys. It really is.
Oh, dude, it's amazing. It's incredible. Right? So they're freaking out, and then all of a sudden, people are like, oh. And they come racing back in and bust through the door. And they're all just broken. They're all just mentally broken.
And they're just rattling off crap.
Except for crazy, fanatical, religious, insane, nutso lady who just wants to keep, living in her own head and doesn't care about reality, really. Hey, I like that old dude with the mustache too. Like, was he in other stuff? Because he looks like he might have been in westerns or something.
Possible.
Right? It's funny. So Buddy is now the burn victim they went to go save is dead. So it was all for nothing. They've come back, and apparently in that time, Mrs. Carmody has convinced everyone that she's psychic and that she's
She's a direct conduit to God, is what you're trying to say, Nemesis?
yeah, well, right. So they're all right. Welcome to Sesame Street. Today's word is expiation. Expiation.
They did get some drugs from the pharmacy back, though, did they not?
They did.
Yeah.
Or else that whole trip would have been pointless.
No, but they did grab some bagfuls of OxyContin and whatnot. So yeah. Actually, at this point, if I had to listen to that religious lady anymore, I'd just walk out the door and say, "Fuck it." Okay, I'm being facetious, but you guys probably know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
No, but at the same time, because that's what they're trying to do at this point.
Yeah, I would have pushed her ass out the door.
Oh, I would have kicked her ass out the door. I would have said, "Enjoy the afterlife, bitch," and then booted her butt right out that door.
Yep. And that guy, that military guy, those goofy eyebrows, it's just like, I mean, come on, guy, what are you thinking?
Oh, those are his natural eyebrows, but
They're natural. I was wondering that. Looks like he's trying to look like, I don't know.
Are you saying
Well-
you're saying he plucks his eyebrows, Pop?
There was
so here, Pop.
Yes.
This is what they're talking about. The Arrowhead Project. This isn't natural. It's not Cthulhu and the Dark Ones. They opened up a gate to another dimension, and that's where all of these things are coming from.
Nice.
Okay, so they weren't a creation of the government, but the government opened up a dimension.
Yes.
Nice to know
And
that's
they
where the
come through the
government's
gate.
spending tax money.
Hey, tax buddy hard at work.
Hard at work to get you killed.
Right? And I feel super bad for this dude, right? He's watched his girlfriend die, his buddies die, and now everyone's turning on him. Right? Mob mentality scares me. Totally frightens me. That's why this movie is what stands up there with me.
Well,
I totally get it, yeah.
Well, Nemesis, Quark said in one of the best episodes of DS9 there, humans are the most friendly, wonderful, generous people, but you take away their sonic shower hours, deprive them of sleep and food, put them in constant danger, and they'll turn into the most savage Klingon. Or something like that.
I don't know why, but I keep getting the feeling that he's a transvestite. There's just something about his face.
No.
It looks like he's a woman or a borderline woman. I can't put my finger on it.
Sure, he's got androgynous features, but that's fine.
He can't help it. His mom put him in dresses as a kid.
I don't get that, but it won't matter in another minute or two anyway. So.
No, it won't.
I think he's a guy that's, he's trying to be a decent guy and he's just in a really shitty situation.
Yep.
Well, here's also.
They're going to crucify him now, so it doesn't matter. Kill him!
Right.
Of course, bring him up.
Here he was just, I can't remember what his job was, but he's like, I had nothing to do with it. I was just stationed there.
He's just an
Right,
army.
so-
He's just an army grunt, basically, man. It's like he's just, doing
Yes.
his job as a soldier.
Which means in
And then we
reality,
get-
he wouldn't really know what's going on because he doesn't have the need to know. So
No, he's a
if
private.
this
Look
was
at him.
Really,
He just
right. So
follows
this,
orders.
so if this was to really happen, only a small percentage of the people on that base would know what happened. The majority of them would not know because unless you have the need to know, they wouldn't fill you in.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, then
Yeah.
that's plausible deniability when the lawsuits start coming in.
No, this is another scene that, oh man, I as much as I really love this, I think it's a great movie, but man, there were scenes like this. I just got so pissed off at times. I got to be honest, it started to drag my rating down a bit, guys.
Well, that's too bad.
Oh
Because I
well.
like these characters, and I just think they deserve
That's
a little
kind-
more, than they got.
That's
and
the point.
and
Well,
the
the whole
bad. Well, I
point-
get it. I
the movie's-
know.
The movie's supposed. That's the whole point of enjoying a good movie. It brings forward these emotions.
Oh, I totally get it. Like the ending just crushed me, and I totally get that. Probably that was the best way to end it, even though
Right,
I
and here
didn't
comes-
agree with it personally. But
And it's a very slow sacrifice.
hey, what do you think there, Jim? Do you like murdering people, Jim? You like murdering people for your religious mama there, Jim? That's what I was thinking.
Well,
at this
remember
point.
the Old Testament was pretty brutal.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
Right? And see, no one.
there was a New Testament, so people moved beyond that for the most part. Sorry.
Okay, so anyways, getting to the whole point of this is that everyone is scared. Everyone's following her now. Leadership has changed. And they all believe. No one at no point flinched when that dude died.
Nope.
And so she now believes, because she is the messenger of God, that she's the leader of this entire thing. So she's like, you're trying to steal our food. You're trying to claim it as privilege. And look at everyone. Look at everyone's expression. They're all turned. They're all brainwashed. It's beautiful. It's horrifying, but beautiful.
So you're saying, like, what, 30 people in the store have turned? Like, that's what it looks like, right?
They said
I'm
half.
saying everyone in the store has turned PvP,
Well,
except for the 5 people in the group, or 7
that's what I'm
people.
saying. So you're saying like 80% of the human race will just turn into idiots when they get the message often enough drilled into their heads.
I'm saying anyone in a stressful enough situation will believe anyone who has the answer, or believes
Well,
to appear to hold the answer.
Fuck, I'm glad I'm
Especially
not
the
one of them.
simple-minded, right?
Yeah. Well, people are scared. People turn into sheep. They want the easy way out.
Yeah.
And here we go. Anyway,
Oh,
this
this was
scene.
my favorite scene in the whole movie.
Yeah,
Right?
and I was
This
able
is
to
what you've
get
been waiting
it.
for the whole
Yeah.
time.
Finally.
How you doing with that, Gorilla? That help out a little bit?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I wish
Did
you-
that up your rating?
But I think she, a better death for her will have been you start preaching the things, and also the tentacles come through the windows and grabs her and yanks her out the window.
Yeah, but then that would have made her a martyr. Whereas this, she just gets blown away and shown to be
An idiot.
just a person. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I'm just,
It's like, you killed her, and he's like, that's why I said thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. I just hate her. I just hate her so much.
Yep. No, and she was, of course I did. She's one of my most hated characters in cinema. And that's why I absolutely love it. And
I
then
tell ya.
poor Ollie. Holy
more-
shit.
She's more evil than Darth Vader in my book, their nemesis.
Oh, I love it.
Oh,
Even
dude,
the
yeah.
giant monsters, I love it.
Right? And poor Ollie. And then here comes the
Oh.
little spider, and
Oh, man. Yeah, this is cool.
That's why I don't understand people like in Australia that can live with those big old giant spiders that come in and out of their houses and shit. Oh my goodness, I wouldn't be able to handle that.
Well,
you get
I
used
think
to it.
that's probably rare because they probably have, fairly secure houses. But hey, we got black widow spiders in my part of the world, though I haven't seen one in about 20 years, but they exist too. So,
Oh
yeah, but they're not that
different too.
size.
no, but they're small.
No.
But if they bite you, you can get very, very sick.
Oh, for sure. Right? And so Buddy makes it back, and he makes it back into the actual grocery store, and our 5 favorite people make it out, except for Ollie. Ollie dies, unfortunately. Ripped to
Poor
Ollie.
Ollie. Yeah, poor Ollie.
That's Ollie's blood all over the windshield. You're just like, oh my god.
Oh.
And they're like, yeah, he's like, oh. He has to run outside and grab the gun off of the dash.
Grabs the gun, and this is getting to the part that kind of broke the film for me. I hate to say it, but because I know we didn't want tropes, but I was kind of hoping we might get one at the end of the film.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get there.
Yeah. Oh, we're getting
But-
closer.
Avoid
We're getting
spoilers.
closer.
Avoid spoilers, guys.
No, no specifics. No specifics.
Right? Because like I really like coming up because it's funny because you were asking earlier in the film PvP, you're like, what, or was it you, Pop? Somebody asked, what are those tentacles even attached to? And I think it's the creature that we see coming up.
Oh, the ones that drew
that.
the ones that pulled in the bag boy or whatever. You're talking about the ones that pulled in outside the door. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. So here we go, a final, last drive-by of...
And now the dogs go crazy, of course.
Well, of course.
No, it's no worries. We're used to the doggies, Pop. It's not a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
They're just giving their rating in the film, right?
Oh, is it acting up on you? Oh, no, there we go. And here we go. So we finally make it back to the Draytons. And he's going to see if he can get to his wife. And,
oh, yeah, I remember this part.
The house is covered in spider webs. And you can hear a distant monster roar.
Yeah, and he's going, well, goodbye, wife.
Well, I thought he'd
You can see her there,
his wife,
right? She's dead.
Chances the wife's alive.
No, look at her. She's not.
Well, at least
alive.
he did try.
Yeah, I gotta say that's one of the strong points of the film. It doesn't pull punches. I'll give it that credit for sure.
Yep. Right, and once again, an entire school bus filled with kids that got caught.
I love it.
Missed.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I guess they were gonna be kids that died in this. I was thinking the kid. They're not gonna show a kid dying in this film.
Of course not. Oh hell no!
Thing, right here. I think this is what killed Buddy, or maybe
Very
not. But
possible.
I just see the tentacles, and I'm like, maybe.
It's likely. It's very possible.
But just the size compared to it and them, like it's just like after everything you've seen, to see something that big would be like horrifying.
You're screwed. There's no hope.
Right? Because at this point, it's like they don't know how far the mist is extended out to. It seems to be extending out for quite a while for now, but they're like, they're going pretty far until the point where they run out of gas, I believe. Engine faltering. Yep. There we go. Yeah.
Engine faltering. Yep. Out of gas.
But that's when they should have had a Prius.
I guess, but I mean, they took the vehicle that they had access to, and then you can hear a distant monster roar, and everyone sits here, and they make the decision. It's like, okay, what are we going to do? Do we take our chances outside? Which has basically proven to be fatal for everyone. And David brings out the gun and counts the bullets. At this point, Billy is still asleep, so Billy doesn't know what's happening.
And there's not enough boats for everybody. There's enough for all but one. Of course. But there's 5 of us.
Okay. That's one point that knocks it down a bit for me. Was 4 bullets and 5 people. Was that tiny bit contrived, perhaps?
I don't know. I like it.
Well,
I liked it,
no, because he fired off 2 shots. Right? He's fired off. Or no, then again. So unfortunately, what we just saw was Billy waking up just enough to realize what was about to happen, and Dad shot him. And then he shot the old man, and shot the lady, and then he shoots the teacher.
Lady. Yeah.
And loses his shit as one would after just losing your wife, your son, killing all your friends, and then you can hear a monster roaring in the background. And he's just desperate, right? Like, he's like hoping beyond hope that somehow there's still magically going to be a bullet in there. And he comes out and he's just screaming, right? Like, just furious, mad, like just.
Well, if he would have done it right there, he could have had 2 for 1.
I know, but we're not going to talk about that.
Well, yeah, this is another part where I really struggle with the film because, I mean, okay, I know I wanted a happy ending. Okay, I wanted a trope. Yeah, okay, I get it. You know, I'm a sucker. I'm a sentimental guy. But man, this was so brutal because I was pulling for this guy through the entire movie, and I thought maybe there'd be some little bit of hope. And then when we see the army rolling in here with, well, just let it play. Just let it play. I don't want to give it away.
Yeah. So here we go.
And there's the lady. There's the lady with her kids.
Uh-huh.
And that was when I thought, what the fuck? Okay, why didn't she die? Why did she get in her car and drive all the way for miles to her kids? And her kids were still alive, and they all drove away and nothing killed them.
Well,
I don't think she did drive.
Question, guys.
Well,
I don't think she did drive though.
No, I think she was very close to her house. I think the grocery store was very close to her house, like maybe right behind it or so.
It's never explained though, is it?
No.
Well, yeah, it is. It's explained kind of when they don't give like, oh, my house is 3 minutes away from this grocery store. But it was basically, she alluded to the point that there's enough time to leave an 8-year-old in charge of a 3-year-old to run to the grocery store and back.
The thing is, they tied the rope around Jeb or whatever his fucking name was, and that came back after he got like 100 feet out full of blood. So she must have been a damn fast runner and gotten a very good car, and drove away real quick to survive that. I'm just saying.
I don't think she did.
I had a problem with that. I really did. I had a problem with that scene, guys.
That's cool. They're entitled to that. I don't think she did, though.
I mean, I get it. It's irony. It's irony. I get it. I get it. But it pissed me off, to be honest, you know?
Coolio. But I don't think she did get into a car and drive away. There's no implication that she did that at all. She wandered off stealthily and quietly into the place. So.
Well, must have been very close, is all I'm saying, because we talked before, whether you were quiet or you were noisy, the thing was going to get you after like 100 or 200 feet, right? Pretty much.
No, because there's multiple things in the mist, though, dude. Like, once again.
Sorry, Nemesis. I'm not buying it.
Sure, bro. Whatever.
Okay. Agree to disagree. That's totally fine.
I don't like to disagree with anybody, but for me, it didn't feel believable, is what I'm saying, I guess, guys. You know?
But it's fine.
I'm not saying I didn't like the movie. Don't get me wrong. I thought it was a really good movie. But anyway, I'll give my rating when we get there.
Well, I feel bad, everybody, because I said I would do it earlier and then I forgot because I got so wrapped up in this. So I am now putting the poll in the chat. I hope it's not too late. Okay. So I'm going to encourage everybody to please vote if you haven't. Sorry about the delay there, everyone. I usually do, as you guys know, do it sooner than this.
Dude, it's all good. I'm interested to see, because this is a very divisive movie for people, right? Like,
same here. I want to see.
Because I can totally understand where you're coming from with the lady PvP. I totally can. It isn't explained. It's an open point that isn't really answered.
Okay, well, I just put the poll in the chat, everybody. You may have to refresh your screen in order to see it. I don't know. But please, if you're there, if you're still listening, if you're up to it, please vote. Let us know what you think about it. Like I've said before, you can either grade the movie on its merit or on what you think of our coverage of the movie. And then I will go around here and we'll get everybody's on the panel their thoughts on the movie. So I guess I'll start. I usually go clockwise, and I'm going to start with Gorilla if that's okay. Gorilla, what do you say about this movie?
Well, I think it went on for about 20 minutes longer than it needed to. It seemed like, because at the hour point, I was like, oh, there's only like 15, 20 minutes left. And all of a sudden, it's going up to what might have been a logical conclusion point. But nope, we still
Uh-huh.
had an hour to go. I still feel like they did that kid dirty at the very end there. But very hard to pull off a satisfying kid's death in a movie. So I was like, I'm having mixed feelings on that. There, the mist was kind of cool there, but it seems like there's just like a lot of waiting for the monster reveals. I know what they're going for suspense, but I still think they waited too long to go for that suspense look. I'm gonna give it a B plus.
Oh, fair enough. I appreciate it. Now tell us about your channel.
Well, let's see. Tomorrow we're watching 2 episodes of Justified, uh, on season 5. I think it's 2 and 3. Then uh, for cringe stock there, we are watching the Microwave Massacre.
Yep.
Which is I can't remember what year it's from.
80 something, 80, yeah.
Yeah. And for the Waltons, we're reviewing the episode of the romance from season 3. Saturday, we are reviewing Johnny Mnemonic.
With Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, Keanu. Then on Sunday, we are watching the 3-day, 16 hours and 22 minute movie, Return of the Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, the extended edition.
Get your coffee
What
ready,
time?
everybody.
Yeah, so that's
What time,
about it.
Gorilla?
That one will be 4 o'clock Central, so you, Nemesis, it would be 3 o'clock.
2
Ah,
o'clock
shit.
Pacific.
Okay.
Why?
I work
What time do you work?
4 p.m. my time, so I could maybe be for like an hour if I'm on the panel. Regardless, I'll try and be there in the chat for you.
Okay.
I'll see what I can do.
Hey, just tell your boss that. Sorry, boss, I got the COVID.
Right?
Okay, is there anything else you want to share, Gorilla?
Nope, that's about it. Thanks for
Okay,
having us
well,
on.
thank you. Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for helping me with the chat. You did a great job as usual. All right, and now PvP, it is your turn. Tell us what you think. Don't hold back.
Well, I think it's a really good film. Don't get me wrong. I know I criticized a few points while we were doing the stream. But don't misinterpret that as, I don't think it's crap by any means. As I mentioned early on, I thought the first part of the film was absolutely A plus material because I've so long wanted to see a film that had real people in real situations with real dialogue, talking to each other like real people act, talk and interact with each other. And the first, 20, 30 minutes of the film totally did that for me, which I was A plus at that point. And, I love the bugs. I love the creatures. I love all that stuff. The mist stuff was cool. That was all good stuff. So I didn't have any problem with any of that. That was all fun. What started to drag it down for me was the crazy religious lady. The crazy religious lady over and over. I don't know how many scenes she had, but I was like Gorilla. I think they could have trimmed maybe 10 minutes out of this film quite easily if they just cut a couple of scenes of the crazy religious lady because she really started to grate on my nerves after a while. So that started to drag it down, from A plus to like A minus. And that last sequence when dad shoots his son and all the people in the car, that was like okay, if there was bugs hammering on the windshields, if the glass was cracking, if they had like 1 minute left before they got torn apart, totally I could have got him shooting everybody in the car just to save them the pain, right? And including
Uh-huh.
his young son. I would have bought that. I would have been 100% in favor of that. But there was no bugs anywhere. There was nothing trying to shatter into the car. So it's like, okay, you got a gun. Just wait. if the bugs show up in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, then shoot everybody. But of course, he doesn't do that. He just kills his son and everybody else. And then, like 30 seconds, a minute later, the army shows up with everybody safely in. And get this, they're all in open trucks, right? No shelter. They're
Oh
in
yeah.
open trucks. So why didn't the creature swoop down and kill all those people in the army trucks? I have no answer. And
Well,
to top the icing on the cake, I'm just going to finish, guys. We see lovely lady that, very protective, went out, walked out in the mist to get her kids. That's great. Power to her. I still have no explanation to how she actually survived and how her kids survived, but I'm being nitpicky at this point. But I'm just got to say, as much as I think this is a very excellent film in a lot of ways, it was at that point towards the last part of the film where I went from an A plus down to a B minus. It really dropped for me. I'm just saying.
Totally fine. You don't have to apologize. I love the different opinions.
It had great moments,
welcome
a lot
them.
of good stuff, but there were just issues in the film that just bugged the hell out of me, right, Pop? So that's why I had to drop it.
well,
Totally
PvP.
fine.
I think the reason for the open trucks and all that is they're coming from areas that have already been cleared out, and they're taking them to areas that have already been cleared.
Yeah, I could buy that, but still, if these things, like these bugs are wicked, right? I'd want to put them in some kind of enclosed carriers if I was in the military, but I'm just saying, I'm being nitpicky, of course, Gorilla, but your point's valid, of course.
Like, yeah, the very last scene is just the mist clearing and the government burning everything away, right? So, I mean, like, yeah, I don't know.
I thought it was a very good film, but not an absolutely perfect film, at least for me watching it. But, that's why my rating, guys. Still, I think it's an
That's
awesome
fair,
film.
for sure.
I tell any friend of mine, hey, watch this film. It's really good, and make up your own mind, right? So
what grade are you giving it?
Oh, I give it a B minus.
B minus. Okay, that's great. Now tell us about your channel. Anything you want to share there?
Well, as my avatar might suggest, it's about music, rock and roll, playlists, full albums, some concert videos. But yeah, that's about it. I haven't uploaded anything lately, but there's tons of stuff on there. Like I've been uploading stuff for like a year and a half or whatever. So there's tons of stuff on there. If anybody's a big fan of music, just go check it out, please. So yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you for joining us tonight, PvP. I appreciate your input and your valuable insight to this movie.
I'm always happy to be here, Pop, and I appreciate you and your channel and all the streams you do during the week with us guys, and we do appreciate you, man.
It's my pleasure. Believe me, it's all my pleasure. And now, my good friend Nemesis of Eden, what say you about this movie?
First and foremost, it looks like Suzanne Eckstein is leaving, so thanks for being here, Suzanne. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah, have a good night. And holy crap, the chats took off. It looks like.
Yeah, we'll get to the chat in just a second. So, I thought this movie was fantastic. Like, the first time I saw it, I was absolutely devastated, just like PvP was. I was just like, man, this religious lady is awful and terrible, and I wish she would have died earlier, and like, I was gut punched with the ending. And now, after seeing it, like, I don't know, this is like number 11 for me. I think I love this movie. This was one of the first movies that came out where you could definitively say this is a Lovecraftian movie. It definitely could have used a minor amount of fat trimming to make it a bit shorter, but overall, I think it was all good. This is more of a perspective of how people turn into monsters in a scenario like this versus the monsters outside, for the most part, just kind of did their own thing, right? Like it was like this weird ecosystem inside of the mist we didn't really get to see. And it was awesome. Like, the creature design was fantastic. I loved the spiders. I loved the praying mantises. I loved the little scorpion flying dudes. I loved the giant hulking monstrosity at the very end where you're just like, oh my god, right? Like it's scary enough that we've been dealing with like spiders and whatnot, and these things have been super deadly. Let alone something that's the size of a mountain that's literally walking in front of you. Just beautiful renditions of what H.P. Lovecraft would have conjured up. So ultimately, I would say that I could recommend this movie to anyone to watch at least once. It is a solid A for me, if not an A plus. I'll go with an A just to be safe because there are some things wrong with it, but for the most part, this is one of the best Lovecraftian horror films that I've seen as of yet. And yeah, so solid A.
All right. Anything you
And
want to share about your channel?
Certainly. I do Skullgirls Mobile and I do Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, which is both on the mobile. So if
Nice.
you're into drawn women with our pop culture references, or if you like Yu-Gi-Oh!, definitely check out my channel. I would love to have you there. I've been trying to do a little bit more shorts. And yeah, please stop by. And thanks to everyone who has made it this far in the chat and the live stream and the rewatch. You are all amazing. Thank you to my fellow co-panelists, and thank you, of course, to you, Pop, for picking such a wonderful movie. It's always a pleasure to review stuff with you and just to hang out.
It's my pleasure, buddy. Awesome. It's good to have you here. I look forward to it every week to share opinions with you. So thank you for being here. Seriously, one of these days we need to partake together if we ever get a chance.
Yes. Dude, totally. I'm down for that.
Yeah. Hopefully one of these days. If I ever get better, then I'll try to put it on my bucket list. So I'm going to give the movie also an A. It's the same as similar to what Nemesis of Eden says. It's almost perfect. Yes, it could have trimmed a little bit of the fat out of it. I was satisfied with the pacing. But I'm used to older movies where, I've seen movies where we get a lot less in more amount of time. So I was happy with that. Old school, I never get tired of old school movies where if it's 2 hours, 2.5 hours, that's fine with me as long as it's well written. I know a lot of people compare it to if you have to look at your watch or not. And I would say, no, I wouldn't have to. I didn't look at my watch while watching this movie. And yes, 2 hours, but I think it was used up quite well. And I wanted to shout out to the great director, Frank Darabont, great casting. And like we previously said, there was a lot of people with The Walking Dead. And the CGI was held up, which is the reason why I wanted to highlight this movie in the first place. I wanted to show, as I mentioned earlier, that it is possible to do CGI right in a movie if taken seriously. On the other end of the spectrum, like anybody who has seen that horrible, nasty Thing remake from a few years ago, it is a good example of what not to do with CGI. And this movie is a good example of what to do with what good to do with CGI. I know I'm butchering that. I'm not saying that right, but you guys get the idea of what I'm talking about. But I enjoyed it. Like I said, at A, and I'm glad we covered it. It's a controversial movie. I know it jars feelings that some people aren't expecting, and especially know that the ending. I had a feeling there'd be some mixed feelings with the ending, but that's to be expected. And as I said before, I like unexpected endings. I like unexpected twists and turns where everything is not predictable. The ending of this movie, I wish would have been the ending of that remake of War of the Worlds, the Steven Spielberg version with Tom Cruise. I wish that would have ended this way. I would have preferred that movie much better if it would have. But with that being said, tomorrow night, join us for my good friend Gorilla's Random Thoughts and myself. We're going to have 2 more episodes from season 3 of Gilligan's Island. Saturday night, I'll be back with another open mic, open topic, rumblings from the lab, where everyone's invited to partake in the fun. And then we'll be back next Monday with a classic episode of Lost in Space. We are on season 2 of that. And I think that's all the streams. I think I mentioned them all. I don't want to rehash them over and over. But for those of you out in the chat, or if you're listening on the rerun, I hope you enjoyed this. Maybe consider hitting the like button. And if you haven't done so, subscribe to my channel. I'm going to go ahead and show the poll. I'm sorry for putting the poll up so late. But if you haven't done so, please vote. And I'm going to share that with everybody and see what you guys think about this controversial film.
Well, let's catch up on chat here before we show that.
Good idea.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Gorilla.
That says thank you for this pop. It's very enjoyable.
My pleasure.
PP, you want to read this one?
PvP, I have an EpiPen in every room of my house. I'm deadly allergic to spiders, all spiders. Okay.
Ooh.
Well, keep those EpiPens close so you're safe there, Suzanne.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Cat says this was a good one. Thanks, everyone. Cheers.
My pleasure, Cam, and good to see you, sir.
You too. And Devis says thank you, Cam. And Engine Time says hails Cam. I'll give you an all today, but I'll give this movie a B in the poll.
Oh,
Cool.
thank you.
Suzanne says peace, Cam. And Nemesis says excellent. Thank you for the A, Cam. And thank you for that, Skirby. And Cam says, great to see you. Engine Time, thank you. This is why Nemesis will survive the AI apocalypse.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And Cam says, today I'd have a good one. Always a great pleasure. Take it easy. Great to see you. Then Engine Time says, hose man. And hey, have a good night, Cam. And Missy Mountain Hop FTW. Suzanne says, gentlemen, have a wonderful night. Peace out.
Suzanne.
Oh, thanks for coming.
Good night, Suzanne.
Night, Suzanne.
Night, yet, dear.
Sleep well, Suzanne.
And Skirby says, thank you, Pop and Pale. Not a problem. There's the panel.
Thanks, Batman. You rock, buddy.
Thank you, Skirby. You rock. Hey, and who got the draw?
We've agreed to a truce. You missed it.
Yeah,
There's been an armistice.
Even Steven.
They've reached an armistice.
Sounds like I'm going to have to be poking the bear here for you guys.
Oh, my God. Oh, I see how it is.
Sorry you missed it, Gorilla.
Yeah, thanks for being here too, Engine Time. You rock. And Skirby says, good night, Suzanne. And that's everything.
All right.
You
Thank
do
you
love
so much.
poking
So
things,
now,
Gorilla, so.
I hope everybody had the chance to vote. I'm going to go ahead and end the poll now. And let's see what kind of results we got. This should prove interesting, to say the least.
Very good.
I think this is one of our most controversial movies that we've shown. There we go. So it looks like we got 6 votes, and I know that the poll came out kind of late. So otherwise we would have had more votes, but thank you for those 6 votes. And of course I misspelled like an idiot. What grade would you give The Mist? Because I'm in such a hurry to put that poll out. B+ to B- gives it a 66%. A+ to A- 16, C+ to C- 16, and 0 gave it a D+ with F-. So that's great. So it looks like the majority of people gave it a B+ to B+ to B-, and that's almost an overwhelming majority. But it's good that nobody actually outright hated it. So yeah, that's great. And thank you guys for voting. I appreciate your participation.
Well, it'd be hard to hate this movie because it is a good film.
It sure is.
Right, whether good or bad, how you feel, it's hard denying that it is a good movie. Well written, well paced, good casting, good CGI in general, and you don't get that very often in Hollywood. That's why definitely I think this movie deserved to be highlighted and covered by our stream. I wanted to praise it, and thank you, like I said earlier, Frank Darabont. If you're out there, my God. Make some more movies. Make some more scary movies. Make some more monster movies. I love your monster movies.
Yes, please.
He was done wrong on The Walking Dead. Screw them for what AMC did to him. But I'm a fan of Frank Darabont. Is there anything else anybody else would like to add? Anything else you guys would like to say?
I think we're good. Thanks for having us on.
I'm all good tonight, Pop. Like I got to cook supper and get some sleep for work tomorrow. So.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you guys. I especially, I love everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for being here and being patient with us. I know it was kind of a long stream tonight, and especially thank you all, my wonderful friends on the panel, for your reviews And everybody in the chat, check out their channels. They are amazing. They've got a lot of content and variety out there to enjoy. So with that, have a great night, everybody. If you work tomorrow, please drive carefully and stay warm. And I will see, hopefully, you guys tomorrow night on Gilligan's Island. Take care.